Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a 2026 Dynasty Startup mock draft for you today. I would love for you guys to come and join myself and Sammy Stacks here. We're going to get in, build some teams out, have some conversations. We talked about this before the stream. My mindset is starting to move more and more towards the redraft side of things. You know, we're doing a bunch of best ball drafts on Fantasyland football. Thinking about redraft rankings, looking at my projections, updating the draft guide. And it'll be interesting because while the Dynasty offseason isn't over, we are moving towards more like our expectations specifically just for this season. And I wonder if that will impact some of these mock drafts, you know, like how people are drafting. Maybe some of these veterans are going to go a little bit earlier, but hyped to be with you tonight, Sammy Stacks. Anything you want to tell the people before we dive on in here?
Yeah, man. I think it's an interesting time in the dynasty cycle where, you know, we're heading into 2026 and you're looking at your lineups and those beautiful youths that you have maybe don't seem so great in that lineup for week one. Zach, recently I sent out a trade offer in every single league that I'm a contending team for Rashad White. One night I was in bed, I was like, you know what, I'm about to go to sleep. Let me send out an offer for Rashad White. Just throwing people. Let me give you a third in Jalen Noel. What do you think about that? You know, just little offers like that. Try and get some free production for 2026. I think there's a lot of guys like that could be targeted. We'll probably talk about them tonight.
That's a real place. What's up, guys? Let us know who's in the chat with us. What's up, Mike? What's up, Dan? What's up, Daniel Macy, who says 64 days until kickoff. Yeah. I actually just booked my flights to Austin last night. So it feels real once you actually book the flights in, and now looking at Airbnbs and stuff. And well, I think I'll be there 6 days before everybody else. I'm trying this weird flight where we leave. Typically, if you leave Australia to go to America, you do it early in the morning here, and then you arrive early in the morning in America. But there was just this deal that was basically half price. Flights were so expensive. I don't know why, but they were so expensive. There was this deal that was basically half price where I left at basically 6 p.m. Australian time, but I arrive in Austin, Texas at midnight. So that will be interesting. But hey, all along for the ride. Okay. What's up, Outlaws? What's up, Scribbles? What's up, Christian? Welcome in, welcome in. Like I said, we're going to get into a Dynasty Startup mock draft. Would love for you guys to join us. I'm going to go ahead and put this link in the Discord, and we'll get you guys in with us if you'd like. I'm going to draft at the 6th spot. It looks like we got Sammy at the 11th spot. We're going to do some mock drafts, have some conversations. But when you go to the Discord, under the land community, you will see the mock drafts tab. I'm going to go ahead and paste this link here. It will be first come, first serve. Come join us. Let's get into this mock draft. Let's fill it up, and we'll have a fun time. While we wait for that to fill up, let's go to some of these trade questions because there's so many in the queue for today. And after the mock draft, I'll get to some team reviews, a lot of your trade questions, but I thought it would be fun just to start off with some of these. Kinzel, this is a Superflex Start 9, 12 team. Oh, nice. We fixed it. So it's a 0.5 tight end premium. 2028 and 29 first, he says, team is a reload, have May and Jaden Daniels. He would send away Nix, Travis Hunter, Jordan Addison to get back a Dunze and 2 first-round picks. What do you think about this? It's 28 and a 29 first, so those are well into the future. Bo Nix is the only player on the opposite side that's probably worth a future first right now in markets. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I think, honestly, this is hard because I think Nix is probably worth a first plus a little bit, right? And I think that maybe you could view the Addison to Rome or the Hunter to Rome upgrade as that plus. The problem is, just these two players specifically, Travis Hunter and Jordan Addison are both guys that I could really see gaining a lot of value. And especially you're a reloading team. Both these guys are under 25. You know, I don't mind the idea. You have May. I feel like this feels a little forced to me. If you're a reload, do you want to be loading up on picks 2 years and 3 years away?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if this is the right move for what you're trying to do. Maybe you feel differently.
I'm pretty indifferent. Just altogether a little bit indifferent. I think one thing that would probably put me over the top is if you're able to send another veteran, like if we're really going all in on the idea of like a complete rebuild, then use this as an opportunity to push this deal across the line and getting rid of some of these vets like a J.K. Dobbins. Could you get a Tootin back? You know, is that asking too much? Can you send back a Cortland Sutton in this deal? And is there a receiver that you can get back that's young and relatively unproven? Not really. Unfortunately, but if you were to send Cortland Sutton away, you know, could you get a Kyle Manon guy back in return? Like, I'm trying to find like a little micro transaction here where even if it means like, okay, you're going to get their second round pick in 2028 and we're going to send them Cortland Sutton, you know, like right now you probably can't sell like a Dobbins or a Sutton straight up for a second rounder. People are going to have to wait till in season to see them putting up numbers to do that. But that's like a small little move that you might be able to make to kind of get this deal across the line. Another hypothetical here. Let's say you grab Bashul Tootin and they won't accept just Dobbins straight up. Well, can you send them Dobbins and Sutton and come back with like a third round pick, right? I'm trying to find ways where you can negotiate effectively and still accomplish what you're trying to accomplish there.
I like those counters.
All right, we got one more here, and then okay, we've got 5 free spots in this mock draft. So I'm gonna send this link directly into the YouTube chat. Why don't you guys help us fill this up? It is definitely getting towards the redraft season.
It definitely is.
Let's look at some of these trades here. Crush 5 would send away Cam Scattaboo to get back Bashul Tootin, a second and a third. I personally do have Scattaboo ranked higher than Tootin. It's just when you've already shown me that you're capable of being a league winner, then that's going to hold a little bit more weight to me. It's not like you can make a case for either with draft capital, and a second and third are so minuscule in the scheme of things that I find that hard to be the reason that in my mind you are slightly tearing down. I don't know if you have a different opinion on that, Sammy, but
I think that maybe I view them closer.
Okay.
I think that if we look at how like redraft mocks are going right now, like these guys, like Scat's like a late 4th. I mean, some people are pushing him up a lot more. I think he went in the 3rd round of the mock on Sunday night. But
wow,
Tootin's, you know, a early 5th round pick. I do think they're closer, but a second and a third doesn't get it done for me. Like maybe like 2027 seconds that look potentially early, but even at that point, like I feel like I might just rather keep the guy who has higher value right now.
I'm wondering if we can attach like a Dobbs here.
What I would want to do is get like a better plus,
right? Like we attach a Dobbs, we get a Marvin or something, right?
Or like, could I get like Travis Hunter in a second instead of like a second and a third? Like I don't mind taking that upside swing. This is fine too. Scat and Dobbs for Tootin and Marv. I think that's all right as well.
Yeah. So those are 2 counters that you could try. Yeah. Overall, not opposed to it, but you are sending away. I mean, every time John Harbaugh opens his mouth, he is saying that Scattaboo is basically the focal point of the offense, which is, in my opinion, as a Scattaboo truther, very enticing. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, it's been years since I haven't been able to fill up a mock draft, y'all. Come on, jump into this mock draft. I'll put a link in the chat. Help us fill this up. We've got 4 spots left. If you want to get into this mock draft, a Dynasty Superflex startup mock draft, we've got 3 spots remaining now. Help us get in there like swimwear. And while we're waiting for that to fill up, just a heads up, I am going to do a giveaway today. If you'd like to win a live team playbook, I'm not doing as many playbooks nowadays. Some of my focus is more towards like the redraft side of things, but every week I'll still be kind of streaming and getting your playbooks done. So if you want to enter the giveaway to win a live team playbook, the creme de la creme product of Dynasty Reviews, then you can do that by simply liking the stream. And then step 2 is to type the code word in the YouTube chat, and the code word in the YouTube chat is Prometheus, by the way, which the reason that that's the code word is because next week, in about 6 days, we will be having a real Dynasty startup draft, the Prometheus League. We'd love for you guys to come join us there. Obviously, anybody who's a land member can enter the drawing. About 24 to 48 hours before the draft, we'll go ahead and raffle off any remaining spots if newbies haven't taken them at that point. But Still 2 spots remaining, which I am shocked. Let me go to Discord and let me tag. Let's watch. This will fill it up. Let's tag our community. 2 spots left. I'm sure that will get it done. And while we're waiting for that to fill up, let's go ahead and there's 1 spot. Let's do one more trade question here. A Merc, Superflex 10 team start 10 with a 0.25 tight end premium, says trying to get out of purgatory, looking to rebuild. What do you think about this move? They would send Waddle in a second to get back Jordan Tyson. I have no problems with this type of move. You're resetting the clock entirely. I love Jalen Waddle. He's a great rebuilding asset, but I mean, Waddle right now is valued as a late 27 first. I don't think you could send a late 27 first for Jordan Tyson. I don't think you can send a late 27 first for basically the 104, the 103, right?
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to. I mean, maybe if somebody's like crazed on that class, but I think that would be a bad move. I think it's Tyson over that pick pretty easily. I mean, yeah, like I love Jalen Waddle too, especially for this year. But yeah, like sending a 27-year-old wide receiver who, you know, he would have to have an insane season to not lose value.
Yeah. It's a no-brainer, right?
You're in purgatory, looking to rebuild, 100%.
I mean, look at Roma Dunze, for example. Like, how disappointing has he been for fantasy football through 2 years, and yet we're still valuing him in the community. A lot of people have him ranked as a top 15 dynasty wide receiver. So, all right, we are completely filled up here. That's awesome. I did put a third-round reversal in there for all y'all people, so you're happy. We've got a Superflex start 10. Let's say 0.5 tight end premium is what we'll rock with here. 30 seconds on the clock. Styles Clash. Maybe you should change your name, Styles, to Styles Cash, because that actually sounds pretty good. But we have Josh Allen coming off the board here first. Bijan Robinson off the board as well. Let me ask the chat. Are you guys still entering Dynasty Startup drafts? Obviously, a lot of you will be entering on the landleagues.com website, but are you guys still looking to add leagues right now, or are you kind of happy with whatever portfolio you have at this point? What about you, Sammy?
I don't think I'm going to do any more startups this off season. Maybe I got some guys that I like playing a bunch of leagues with. They're thinking of doing one. We've talked about like doing an auction, slow auction, which like that would be best probably. Trying to, you know, make a bunch of moves in a slow draft might be too time consuming, but we'll see. I'd be fine to add one more, but also, you know, redraft is really what it's all about right now. I gotta start prepping for the Flock League, which, little plug by the way for anybody listening.
Yes.
On Saturday night, which is when I normally stream on the Sammy Stacks Fantasy channel, Danny Ladd will be joining me.
Oh yeah.
He'll join for a few Saturdays as we get closer to the Flock League. We're gonna sort of try and flesh out some strategy.
That's awesome.
So we don't go into the draft blind. So yeah,
It'll be
Saturday
fun
night,
to,
8 p.m. Eastern.
It'd be fun to see you guys kind of go back and forth on that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we recorded a video for the FSC channel because Bush is out, so I hopped on for a video over there. That was fun. It was funny. Me and him, like, we did a video offenses to target and avoid. Yeah. And we were literally just like kissing each other's asses the entire time. Like we both just completely agreed with each other's takes. There wasn't really any arguing at all. Yeah. It was nice.
Someone in the comment section, by the way, UT says, there's a guy in one of my leagues who's in 190 dynasty leagues. I'm guessing he's unemployed. 190 is crazy. Like, you have to, at that point, the only way that's even possible to do is if you have some AI tool that you've built to manage your leagues for you, because
I know that a lot of people do like a shit ton of best ball. So like, there is some in-season management to an extent, but like, I feel like that's not optimal, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
you got like at least 150 of those have to be best ball drafts for that to make sense. You know what I mean?
You can't set those lineups. Like, there's no way.
That's just wild. Yeah. So we have Jamar Chase, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Puka Nacua off the board. No surprises here. Josh Allen was the 101, Drake May at the 107, Daniels at the 108, and Caleb, your boy Caleb Williams, at the 109. You're pretty comfortable with this pick, right? Like, you're not afraid to take him in the first, from what I understand.
You got to take somebody. He is my 9th overall player.
Yeah.
It's a massive tier after that top 8. I really do think so. So Caleb is my 109, but I mean, if you look at it like in redraft leagues, like in best ball right now, he's going right around Jaden Daniels, right around Drake May,
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts. So the hype is there for sure.
I speaking of like adding leagues, this might be changing the topic, but like adding leagues and all that. I was in 2 Devy leagues last year. I'm now in 1 Devy league. And if anybody wants to see the Devy draft that we just had for this year, I'd be happy to show you guys. But Devy's I just can't handle more than 1 Devy league because it's just a lot of commitment, a lot of time, a lot of effort. And typically you are not making the right picks in Devy drafts. It's just a different type of monster. You went with Malik Neighbors, right? And Brock Bowers to start there. How you feel about that start?
Yeah. Could have gone quarterback, but I'm going to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
Really high on Bowers for this year. I think that he could, really be one of the stories of the season.
For sure. Like I could see a 19 point per game type of season for him for sure.
100%. Yeah, exactly. And that's obviously like, I think that if this offense is competent, he's 100% capable of that. And it's multiplied, right? Like, I think Kirk is going to be competent for this passing offense. Then when Mendoza comes in, you assume that he's ready, right? Yeah. And so you add on top of that, just like the target competition is just a joke. Like, this is the easiest, pass catching room possible for him to have a 30% target share.
I agree. Let me actually just quickly look at what I've projected him for. Let me double check because let's see. I'm pretty sure I have him as the highest target share of any player. Yeah,
in a PPR league,
I've given him a 30% target share, Sammy.
Yeah, I don't think I got there. What do I have him at? I got him at 28. Okay. I have him projected for 17.4.
Yeah,
PPR points.
I got him
per
at
game.
17 and a half.
Yeah, we're really close. So I have him for 122, 1337, and 6.5. We're in lockstep pretty much on that projection.
Yeah. I'm gonna grab Marion Hampton here. At the 207, so I'll start Puka Nacua at Marion Hampton.
It's a really good
Imagine
match.
starting like that in a 2026 draft. That would be making me feel nice. But by the way, I keep not updating you guys about the new updates in my draft guide. To be clear, this draft guide is for 2026 redraft season. A lot of people have asked like, hey, Zach, is there a way to like change the cheat sheet to Dynasty mode? This is a redraft draft guide. If you're looking for my Dynasty draft guide, that's the rookie report. But I've got like write-ups on fades, breakouts. We're going to add sleepers soon. Obviously, the cheat sheet's awesome. I've been using it pretty consistently. My projections, I recently added a tool where you could compare players in my projections. So if you want to specifically see, like, for example, it would be really interesting to see like a David Montgomery projection in Houston versus like a Ramondre Stevenson projection for New England. If that is something that would interest you, then you could do that on the site. You can compare teams as well, side by side for their projections. What's something else? I added like a research tool about NFL trends, which you can have a look at. And just pretty much every week we're making it a little bit better. But that is, of course, for anybody who's a LAN member. You can check that out. Use it for your redraft leagues. Jonas says, Naylor's going to have 1,400 yards somehow.
Somebody's got it. I mean, I'm more on the, like, this is like purely a best ball thing, but I'm more on the Trey Tucker side. He's like actually interesting in terms of like spike week potential. He obviously had a 3 touchdown game last year, but Naylor's just like, you can't pay somebody to be good, They paid him, but never really did anything previously. This is why it's like all in on Bowers, right? Because there really is no, like, you and I both like want to leave a light on for Jack Besh, and unfortunately nobody else does because they aren't saying a word about him. Nobody is speaking a word about this guy at all.
No, literally nobody. Not a soul.
It's terrible.
Jonas says, Kirk and Naylor have chemistry. That's true. That's true. They do. What's up, Drake? He says, in a full point, keep one player in the round you drafted them. Only get to keep the same guy 2 times in a row max. Caleb in the 8th, Fannin in the 17th. Oh, brother. Full point tight end premium, and you have Fannin in the 17th.
It's a super
I
flex though.
I
Caleb's
think
probably like a second round pick, no?
true, but Fannin in the 17th. I don't know. I mean, I think you'd be able to find.
You've basically just gotten like a tight end you're a tight end one for free, and then
Yeah,
you can kind of just like operate however else you want in the draft. But like,
exactly.
here's what I would say: is it more likely that I can replicate Fannin's production with like late round tight ends streaming the position,
Yeah.
or is it more likely that I find a Caleb Williams value in the 8th round of a super flex draft?
What do you think?
I feel like it's more. I feel like I'd rather take Caleb and then stream the tight end position. Honestly,
Okay.
I'm surprised Caleb went in the 8th last year. Honestly,
I'm
Like, he was
gonna
getting
start my
drafted in
draft with
redraft
2
leagues.
receivers and a running back here. I've got Puka, Hampton, and Rice. I think I'd rather just figure out some quarterbacks later on. I know it's super flex, but to just like lock up that tight end position 17th round is just insane to me. And I'm assuming you can do that multiple years in a row. I'm assuming you can get Fannin as a keeper in the 17th multiple years in a row.
Yeah, he says you can do it 2 times in a row.
My best super flex leagues in the last 3 years have been the ones where I hit on quarterbacks late. You know, it's not been the ones where I've gone quarterback early. I'm not saying that that's the argument here, because Caleb in the 8th is a great pick, but yeah, let's see what the chat thinks though.
Yeah, I think that is tough. You only get to keep the same guy 2 times in a row maximum. I don't know if that changes my decision at all though. Like,
I just think locking in 2 years of a tight end that you don't ever have to worry about is super
but I don't know
enticing
if
to me.
I don't think it's like a guarantee that you're not going to have to worry about him.
I feel like he's in the same tier as a Warren. Not everybody's going to agree, but I feel like he's in the same tier.
Yeah,
I
think you might be. I think you might have to worry about Warren too. More, not as much, but like the Browns could just be terrible, right? Like Deshaun Watson.
The difference is
like
you could start in a super flex league 20 quarterbacks on any given week, right? Maybe more. They're not all going to like win you your week, but there are very few tight ends that I think you can start consistently.
Well,
that
that's why
aren't
you
in that
stream the
streamer
position,
category.
right? If this is a 20, like this is what, probably like an 18 or 20 round draft. Like, let me just take 3 tight ends at the very end. I'll grab like Jawan Johnson, Hunter Henry, and then like Kenyon Sadiq, and I'll just like stream the position from there. I think that would give me enough. Whereas like the value of a replacement of like the 8th round quarterbacks in this format are going to be like whoever's starting for Atlanta.
Well, it looks like you can only keep 1 player. So I don't think I agree though. Because Max, there's going to be 11 quarterbacks taken, assuming everybody keeps a quarterback, and that's not going to happen. People aren't going to all keep quarterbacks. I guarantee you the McBride and Bowers owner are probably going to keep their guys. The Warren owner is going to keep him where they drafted him last year. The Loveland guy is definitely going to keep him where he drafted him last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'm just more comfortable streaming. Maybe that's just me being higher on Caleb, though. Like, I think that...
right.
But Caleb's probably a first-round pick in that format.
Yeah, could be. Okay, we are here in the Dynasty Superflex Startup mock draft. We are through 3.5 rounds. I have no quarterbacks. The domain boys would be proud of me here. But that receiver room... It's pretty nice, though. All right, Puka, Rice, Collins. All right, we're liking that a lot. You took Hurts at the 302, split, which I liked a lot.
Yeah, man. I mean, him or Dart are my targets there. I just think that, I just think that we're gonna feel very silly about what we've done with Hurts this offseason.
Yeah.
When we get to the end of 2026.
I could see that being a real possibility. Right now, the poll, by the way, is almost split, so it is a tough decision. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that like it's a no-brainer either way. I think you can make a strong case either way. I just, again, like the leagues that I've won in Superflex and in like, I guess this is a redraft league if it's keeper. I would say that's more redraft if it's 1 keeper rather than like 7 or 8 keepers. they have been primarily where I've hit on quarterbacks late and not gone early on them. Like, let me show you. This is a redraft. This is one of my home Superflex redraft leagues, and I finished second. I put up 187 points in the final and lost. But this is what I mean when I say, like, maybe I'm going to put my foot in my mouth here. But yeah, my first quarterback was in the 5th round of this draft. My second quarterback was in the 7th with Trevor Lawrence. And then I was able to pick Mac Jones off the waiver wire. So, like, Trevor and Purdy, like, I'm trying to find those equivalent every year in super drafts, super flex drafts, sorry. I don't like the idea of spending my first round pick on a Burrow, like Knicks went in the first here. It's just, there's too many elite players in those formats. But obviously that's a different question because he has keepers involved too. So we don't know exactly what players are going to be available.
Well, if it's one keeper per team, that's 12 picks, right?
Yeah.
So you're still, and thing is, you still have your first. Like, what if other people are making decisions on keeping, you know, a Jaden Daniels,
right,
or wanting to keep a Burrow or a Lamar or a Josh Allen? You know,
right.
Those guys are going to be losing their first round pick while you're losing your 8th. So I think value over replacement, like Fannin is probably going in the, you know, 7th, 8th, 9th round.
Yeah.
So you're jumping a bunch, but I think that you're jumping to a less premium spot.
Sure.
I think that the exponential jump in like player value that you're getting from the 8th round to the, you know, probably a 2nd round pick for Caleb Williams is bigger in my opinion. But I do think it's close. I understand both ways.
Man, I'm in a tough spot here because I'm not really obsessed with any of these quarterbacks. Much more intrigued by the running backs. At the same time, yeah, I'll just grab Scatterboo here. Okay. I'll take Mendoza. Sounds good. Well, technically, if we were to do a rookie draft, that would make him 2, 3. Who else has gone off the board? 4, 5. I just got the 106 with the 507. So, you know what? I'll take that. Sometimes the board, the auto pick actually helps you out a little bit. So, I'm not going to complain about it. This poll, by the way, is as close as it can possibly get. 52% of the people are saying Harold Fannin. It's just like the 17th round, you know. I guess like value over replacement, I understand. What about like pick value over replacement, though? Is that something to consider? Do you know what I mean? Like, does that logic make sense, what I'm trying to say? Like, it's very unlikely that anybody in your draft has a 17th round pick that's going to matter. And you, in my opinion, have a 17th round pick that is guaranteed to hit. That's just, that could be the difference between you winning your league, you know? But it's not that there's a wrong move to make there. By the way, I am going to do a giveaway today, guys. If you guys want to enter to win a live team playbook, super simple steps. Step 1 is to like the stream, okay? And step 2 is to type the code word. And the code word for today's stream is going to be Prometheus. That's because in about 6 days, we will have a real Dynasty Startup draft on the stream here at Dynastyland Football. I would love for you guys to join me in that draft. We've got it on Monday night, I believe. Monday night of next week. But if you'd like to enter to win, Prometheus is the code word. Good thing I took Mendoza, though, because Goff and Love both went off the board in this round. So kind of saved myself from myself, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, quarterback does fall off a cliff. It's hard to feel, you know, it's very easy to feel terrible about quarterback coming out of a Dynasty startup. I mean, when you got Jim going May, Burrow, Mahomes.
Wait, someone took 3?
Gets a little dicey.
Where's that?
Yeah, Jim right next to you.
Oh. Yeah,
and Mahomes is really good value there. Like I don't. Yeah. I mean, would I do it? No.
Sure.
But I'm interested to see. There was that draft last week where several teams went heavy and several teams went like 0 quarterback. I'm interested to see if any like trades got done there. Cam Scatterboo's still available.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, that worked out really well. Cam Scatterboo is my 606 pick. We will take the boy off the board there. I feels pretty good. I like this start here. Viking says, I think
Anything,
Fannon's going to be mediocre. He's going to be what? Tied in 6? I don't think I agree with that. I don't agree that he's going to be mediocre. I mean, look, everyone's welcome to their opinion, but how many tight ends have done what he's done as a rookie? And all reports are that the entire offense is going to be built around Harold Fannin. Harold Fannin actually had a better point per game outcome when Shedeur Sanders was his quarterback as well. So I don't know that I agree. We can say that it's definitely going to be a mediocre season. I think he has a chance to finish, with a 14 points per game.
I don't think CC is I don't think this is an out of left field take by any means at all. I just think that terrible offense can often just be the answer to why a player has a bad year. So
at the same time, if you're specifically targeting a tight end that you project to be down in games consistently, who just lost a generational edge rusher, I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
And
I think
in the same breath, how does Harold Fannin not need to be targeted at every point of every game this year?
They did add 2 pass catchers in the first 2 rounds of the draft. I think that touchdown opportunities could be few and far between. But what I do like about Fannin is the after the catch stuff with him is so awesome. Like he is so good with the ball in his hands that just get it to him. Get it to him, 4-6 yards downfield. Let him cook after the catch. A lot of his production could come in that vein where you're not as reliant on the offense being really good, right? Just looking at if it's like a garbage time type of offense, I think that they could do well. Like he could cook there, kind of like a McBride last season, right, with Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers with Jacoby Brissett. Let me get my QB2 here.
I knew you were going to take Kyler Murray. I don't know why. I just knew it was going to be Jameson Williams and Kyler Murray on that turn there.
Well, because I know what I'm doing. That's why.
Because I'm experienced. No, I think it's a good start there. Maybe I should.
JMO, by the way, JMO is. Let me just look at this. So Jameson Williams is 25 years old. Okay. Yeah. He's going ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr. in redraft leagues. He's going ahead of Brian Thomas Jr. in redraft leagues. He's going ahead of Roma Dunze in redraft leagues.
Yep.
Just interesting.
Yeah. I don't think it's a crazy conversation to bring up. I think the reason he's unattractive to people is because there are those weeks that just let you down. As the biggest Jameson Williams fan out there, I understand.
Yeah.
But I do think at some point he is going to be a value there.
Zach, I do kind of. I want to talk about this because I think this is interesting. If he ends up being the wide receiver, let's say he's the wide receiver 14 in points per game by the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
And literally, let's say 33%, 1/3 of his games are below 8 fantasy points.
Yeah.
That would have to mean that the 66% that aren't would have to be above his point per game average, right? To weigh that out. Does it not would you rather have a guy that just scores 10 points every week, or would you rather have the guy that has the opportunity to win you the week more often?
I think some of those names that you were mentioning, people still envision a pathway in which those guys win you every week, though, right? Brian Thomas.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about where he's valued for Dynasty. That's not really what I mean. I just mean people are worried about Jameson Williams because, oh well, he hurts you so often, right? But if he ended up being let's say he ends up being a 14 point per game scorer, right? And he's a fringe wide receiver 1 for fantasy. Just on the outside, a wide receiver 14 finish, like I said.
Yeah.
He's getting there. Even if he has the down weeks, those big weeks are going to be bigger, when he does hit them, because he's making up for the poor performances. So does it not all balance out?
It depends on your perspective. It depends on the type of team that you have. If you've got other players who are going to be more consistent, then yeah, he's a great player to roster. I mean, look, I'm not anti Jameson Williams at all. I'm just saying I understand when people are hesitant to, trust him fully. But I think he's a great pick at the 6'11". I think you did great there. Wide receiver 29 off the board. I have no problems with that. No qualms with it at all. Someone mentioned that I missed out on the Stroud Nico stack. I got to be honest. Not sure I really care about the Stroud Nico stack. Scribble says, I know he wants the Collins Nico stack. Look. Yeah, I don't know. But to be fair, like,
I mean, we'll see.
I've absolutely,
these quarterbacks, man.
Yeah, these quarterbacks are terrible, but man, I don't know. This is clearly a team where if it was real life, I would have to do a lot of navigating to fill out the rest of this roster. There's no doubt about that.
I just want to look quickly at ADP. It feels like the last 4 quarterbacks that went, I feel like this is like way high for them.
Yeah, for me, it feels way high. I didn't know I'm gonna grab Christian Watson here, by the way.
That's a good pick. I'm on landleagues.com. Ty Simpson 901, Stafford 903. Yeah, Jones 906, and Darnold 802. So Darnold's the only one there that's around his normal ADP.
What's Stroud's ADP over there? I also feel like Goff, Love, Mayfield maybe went earlier. Could be wrong.
Stroud's 710, so
okay,
normal.
So he's right in range.
Baker's 606, Love 510, Goff 604.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely was eyeing up a Stafford, but I was probably going to do it in like the 9th round. What can you do? I mean, in reality, I'm not going to just take Malik Willis here because I need a quarterback. And unfortunately, at pretty much every pick, that's been my dilemma. Thank God I accidentally got Fernando Mendoza on the team because I might have no quarterbacks through 8 rounds. But yeah, I just don't want to draft a quarterback because I need one. I know I need to figure it out for sure if this was a real league. But
you know what's maybe like a little underrated that I want to kind of explore maybe is just like not worrying about needing to have a QB2 in Superflex.
Right. And
or like
just playing a
needing
regular
to have
player in it.
Like it's like people really do treat Superflex leagues like 2 QB leagues.
No, for sure, because they just on average
and when you
score
look at
so
it,
much
100%.
But
100%, right? Like even like a Goff is gonna like outscore Judkins by a lot, right? I'm on the clock. Jordan Addison. That'll shock nobody.
I like it a lot. I think Addison's a great buy right now. We've talked about it a lot.
He's really undervalued, man. Like just a guy that was a wide receiver 2, just on the fringe there for the first 2 years of his career, and then just has to deal with a terrible.
In redraft leagues, he's going at the 807 on average, and you got him at the 811 in a Dynasty league. So,
yeah,
I feel like that's pretty damn good. Tootin is the one that's really interesting when you look at like Dynasty versus redraft. On average,
he's 100% undervalued
off the board in all the best ball drafts we've done. I mean, he has the most sharpied in range in my best ball drafts that we're hosting, the redraft ones. Of any player, really, outside of like Bijan and Gibbs. He has only been drafted from 51 to 54. He has not been outside of that range at all as a 505. Now, that's not super flex, obviously. So, maybe if if it was super
like
flex, it would even out a little bit. I'm not sure.
If you look at the guys, Zach, that are going around him in redraft, I mean, Bucky is like half a round more expensive here. Scadaboo's a full round. He's going. Yeah. Tootin's going very close to Judkins. Now that is like maybe an injury thing a little bit, but that's 2 rounds cheaper. Travion Henderson is 2 rounds more expensive. Jadarian Price is 2 rounds more expensive. These are all guys that are going right around Tootin for redraft.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm like, we're probably undervaluing this guy. Like obviously there's more risk in his profile than a Scadaboo because we've seen it before, right? Or a Price because of the draft capital, but that risk is that risk not baked into redraft as well?
I think so. I think
it
so.
Is, right? That's kind of my argument. Like I had a video on the Dynasty channel a few weeks ago talking about some guys that are rising in my rankings, and Christian Watson was a big one because he is like the only wide receiver 27 years old or younger that's being drafted inside the top 30 for redraft and isn't valued inside the top 30 for
Great
Dynasty.
video idea. I might actually do that in the next couple of weeks.
You should do.
Because that's a great video idea, honestly. Man, I know it's the 9th round. I know I need a quarterback. Do I really care that
Bryce Young doesn't tickle your fancy here?
Problem is, there's not many other players on the board that I really care about having, so this is probably a point where I'll just take Bryce Young. You know, I'm not anti-Wilson or Pierce. I do like Parker, but, you know, no one was screaming at me on the board there. Look, we probably should
Scribbles,
just avoid, you know, Scribbles. I don't know if you were on the last best ball draft.
I think Scribbles was there Sunday night.
Fantasyland football. We should probably avoid talking about the Vikings offense. But the difference is, Addison's just cheap everywhere, right? I mean,
that is the thing.
Addison and all the running backs in Minnesota, they're just all so cheap that it's like you almost have to aggressively be out on the offense to not be in on those guys at ADP. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I'm obviously not somebody who thinks that, you know, Kyler doesn't deserve to be a starting quarterback. We can't say that for everybody on this stream. But even at these prices, he doesn't need to be incredible. You know what I mean? And I think even Zach would agree that getting Addison in the, like, 8th round here, Kyler doesn't need to be, you know, some revelation as a passer. He doesn't need to grow 3 inches. Yeah. Like asking if Kyler's going to be able to see Addison.
Yeah.
I heard that he might, you know, try and wear those moon shoes that we used to see in cartoons. You know, they give you some bounce in the backfield.
If that was legal, that might actually work. That might actually save his career.
Connor in the chat makes a good point, asking if we ever make dynasty moves based on redraft. Example: if you think Scadaboo's a top 12 redraft running back, won't that inevitably change his dynasty price? I think this is something that is really underutilized as a strategy in Dynasty because like I mentioned, I said this at the very top if anybody wasn't here the other day. I literally, like, before I went to bed, I sent out an offer for Rachaad White in every single one of my Dynasty leagues that I'm contending. Yeah, because I think, like, I could get him for, like, actually here, let me bring up an actual trade that I did because one of them got accepted.
Yeah,
but I just think that
to answer his question, like, in a very short way, all the time I do stuff like that. In fact, I think in a way, people who there is like a part of the community who only play Dynasty and they're like, ugh, redraft leagues, ugh, gross, no way I'm doing that, you know. And I actually think that the best Dynasty players play both and they love both because they're able to see kind of both ends of the spectrum. Sometimes if you're so Dynasty coded, you're not willing to see anything that's like in the next 365 days. You're so focused on everything outside of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and oftentimes that can lead to you building not the best teams.
Well, yeah, and I think that, you know, if you're so focused on youth, like that is gonna hurt you to an extent. And I think that, like, the Christian Watson thing that I mentioned, Bashal Tootin that we've talked about, like, these are things where, like, based on what, look, Dynasty, as much as we want to say we play in 2 to 3 year windows, the market is so insanely directly tied to year production.
For sure.
If a guy has a good season, he's going to go up. If he has a bad season, he's going to go down. That's 1 year, right? We play in 2 to 3 year windows. Yeah. We try to, but, like, Rachaad White isn't a 2 to 3 year window guy to target.
No,
you know,
definitely
he's not. I'm trying to, you know, get him for cheap for this season because I think that he can help me win a championship, which is the end goal that I don't think it gets overlooked, but I think it gets passed off for, you know, being able to, like, roster bait on the flock site because you have a juggernaut and you know, the league's 5 years deep. You finally have a juggernaut and you've lost a bunch of money.
So that's some people's goal, though. Some people, that's their best case scenario, you know.
Harvey and Coleman going right next to each other is fun.
Yes, I saw him on the board, and I thought, you know what? Why not? Why not? I mean, can you sell Chuba Hubbard for the 111 in 2026 drafts? I don't know if you can. Can you sell Golden for it?
Oh my god, dude! Chuba's another one that I think I had a tweet about this in, like, February. I was begging people to send their late second round picks for Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah.
starting running back. I mean, like I know we're excited about Jonathan Brooks, but
You can be in on both of them based off of price right now. Pretty
100%.
easily.
I mean, but if this is the Chuba price now, you're paying 111. That's difficult.
Yeah.
Okay.
In redraft leagues so far, Chuba Hubbard is the 612 on average.
I'm gonna go. Gosh, what do I even want to do here? I'll give Xavier Worthy a shot. There's no shot I'm taking Denzel Boston over Xavier Worthy.
No?
No, like we're going with the second round pick to the Browns.
Was Worthy really worth a first round pick though?
We don't. He played the entire. He had a good end to 2024, and then he played his entire second year with a torn labrum. He didn't get surgery until the offseason.
Yeah, I just wonder personally how much of that production came because Rice wasn't available though in his rookie year. I mean, he did it. Fair enough.
Sure, but is this with Bieniemy?
I don't think they want him to
back,
be like the focal point of their offense at any point though.
Me neither. But with Eric Bieniemy back, could this passing offense not now support more than one player?
Could.
You know what? That's probably dumb. Maybe it's dumb to take Rachaad White over Tony Pollard, but we've been talking about him. So
no, I think that makes a lot of sense. Plenty of running backs here that you could kind of like staple in as RB2 and then flip-flop each and every week if you've got a strong supporting cast around them.
By the way, Zach, this was the trade that I made. This got insta accepted.
Okay.
Which, so I sent it out. No, this was a Rachaad White trade.
Oh, okay.
I don't often send trades that I think are going to get accepted. I think that's dumb. I think you should send trades that you expect a counter from.
That's why I have a bot that I built on AI to instantly decline any trade offer that Sammy sends me. So.
Okay. Well, nice. No, that was good. It's a good bit. So I sent Blake Corum, who just got drafted after Rachaad White. Granted, I was the one who drafted Rachaad White, but Blake Corum, Jalen McMillan, and a 2027 second round pick, my own, which is on a contender, for Rachaad White and Malik Willis.
Okay. I don't mind that. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, maybe the Bucks wide receiver 3 plus the Rams RB2 for we like Rachaad White. Malik Willis is now my QB3 on this team.
Yeah. Not bad. Scribbles asks, would you rather have Jonah Coleman or Harvey in Dynasty? It's so hard because Coleman, everyone loved. I have said this before. I liked Harvey more as a prospect. I think everybody would have liked him more as a prospect if he was younger coming out, but
yeah, I think you're in the minority there.
I am in the minority there. Yeah, most people did like Coleman better as a prospect, and it wasn't like I had them like generations apart, but Harvey had the draft capital
for you too, right?
That's pre-draft capital.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Harvey had the draft capital in a draft that was really good, and Coleman, what was it? Remind me, 4th round in like one of the worst drafts we've seen across the board in the last decade, probably. Like most drafts, NFL draft experts are like, yeah, it's weak here, or maybe we'll think it's a weak dynasty rookie class, but they're like, but here's the strength of this class. I think back to like the class with Kenny Pickett. Okay, look, not the best quarterback class, but there's so many good defensive prospects. Like this class, pretty much everybody across the board was like, not the best. We don't really like this anywhere.
It's like an NIL trickle down thing, honestly.
Yeah,
that people were talking about. Yeah.
So I just find it really hard to have a strong opinion on either, especially because again, when we go back to having that redraft mindset. My mindset is that if Dobbins is healthy, and I know he's probably not going to be healthy the entire year, but if he's healthy, a lot of people said that about James Conner at one point, right? No way he's healthy. Trey Benson's going to take over. And then that entire rookie year, James Conner was healthy. There's a lot of randomness to it. I don't actually believe that certain people are just more inherently injury prone. I just think luck plays a huge factor, and some people are really unlucky. Anyway, Dobbins, if he is fully healthy, I think you're going to be disappointed that you took any running back in Denver. That's why I find it so hard to be in on either of them.
Yeah, I think so. I have Coleman over Harvey in Dynasty. They aren't like miles apart at all, but and I think I land there just because if I look at it from a 2026 perspective, I think Harvey is going to be a better in best ball kind of pick because I do think he'll have games where he catches 6 receptions. I do think he'll have games where he scores 2 touchdowns, but
yeah,
it's going to be hard to predict when that happens. And I think that he's lost all of the contingent value of if J.K. Dobbins goes down. I think one of the reasons that they targeted Jonah Coleman is because the Broncos were not happy with what they got out of Harvey. The efficiency was terrible when Dobbins went down last year and Harvey had to shoulder the workload. So I think from a who am I going to be able to put in my lineup this year, I don't think Harvey has much appeal. And then a year from now, I just think that Coleman is the better runner of the football. I think that Sean Payton views Harvey as really incredible at what he's able to do, which is be that pass-catching weapon, be that explosive guy to get the ball on the outside. And I don't know how valuable that's going to be on a lineup. You have to set your lineup. You have to put him in your lineup fantasy league, which our dynasty leagues pretty much always are, right? If you're in a best ball dynasty league, I prefer Harvey, I think, just because
right.
He'll just hit your lineup when he does. The contingent value doesn't really matter there. He kind of just has that standalone value. And a year from now, I do think that Coleman is in line to take over for that RB1 job. And he has the pass catching upside that J.K. Dobbins doesn't have. So I do think that he could squeeze Harvey out for that if we look like 2027 and beyond.
Yeah. I totally understand what you're saying. And I think it's really fair. What's up, Antler Ice? Welcome in, my friend. One of the finalists.
Shout out
for the Flock League auditions, as it were. By the way, in this draft, on my rankings, I ranked myself number 1. Apparently, expert consensus rankings have me number 3. I didn't have a single quarterback, tight end, on the roster. Sammy Stacks, by your rankings, you're ranked 1st, and I'm ranked 3rd.
Shocker.
Who would have thunk it?
Oh, so your team doesn't suck. That's good.
Doesn't suck, but certainly sucks at quarterback and tight end. It's just all that meat is right there in the middle.
Yeah, that's where you like it, isn't it?
I love the meat in the middle. Guys, appreciate y'all hanging out. I'm going to get into some trade questions now. Feel free if you'd like to submit a trade question. If you want to get your team reviewed tonight, it's all going to be the same exact link. And I'll go ahead and put that in the chat for you guys. Obviously, if you become a member, then you're going to get a free team review with land. You have to be code land to do that. But I'm going to give you guys one last shot here to enter the giveaway for tonight. Giveaway tonight, we're giving away a live team playbook. So if you want to enter, all you have to do to enter is simply like the stream. And then step 2 is to type the code word, which is Prometheus. And the reason that's a code word is because in about 6 days' time, I've got a real Dynasty Startup draft with the land community that's happening on the channel that you guys can be a part of on landleagues.com. But let's go ahead and let's jump into some trade questions. When we finish the trade questions, we'll do the giveaway. Okay, Amerk here, Superflex Start 10, 0.25 tight end premium, says, I'm not taking this from Mahomes, but I want to know how far off you think it is. Super far off. Super duper 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 far off, my friend. Mahomes, it's a 10-team league, so I'm going to put a premium on premium players. I still think Mahomes can be a premium player in his career. I love Antonio Williams, but he is nothing but a dart throw at this point. Okay, he's basically a third-round equivalent value in a normal draft. So I'm going to remove him just because he doesn't matter in this trade. Nor do I think that Tua matters in this trade. Tua could be the next Baker Mayfield. He could recover his value, but I mean, honestly, to be 100% transparent with you, Amerk, I find it almost insulting that this person had Goff, Dak, Tua, and they decided to send you Tua and a first in a trade like this, I find it like genuinely almost insulting. Like maybe they think that you're stupid or something. Like, not saying that you are, but this is actually, in my opinion,
They might think you are.
Maybe I'm taking it too far, but I would be like genuinely offended if someone sent me this trade. Like in real drafts, let's go to ADP here in land leagues.
I think
so
it's
far
like,
this offseason, we've got Mahomes, who on average is a 305. Would you? And we all assume that Tua and Tony Williams are really not worth anything in a trade. Would you really ever consider sending sending Mahomes away for a late first? Would you ever consider sending away the 305 in startup drafts for a late 27 first? Like, what are we talking about here? This is
here's
awful
the thing,
trade.
like, this is at least a first away. Like Mahomes is 2 firsts, if not more. You know, and needing, like Dak in a first, I think is close.
Yeah,
I don't mind that tier down, honestly.
Dak in a first is way
the
closer.
Type of thing you need. Dak in a first, honestly, might get it done for me. Like if you just think about like if we think about where these guys are valued for redraft, Dak is going ahead of Mahomes right now.
Yeah. But a lot of that is because of the
injury-related,
injury, which
it
specific scenario I do understand. But probably this is the least I would take is Dak in a first and throwing Antonio Williams on there. Would do probably similar for Goff.
This guy doesn't deserve a nice counter either.
No, so I think what I would try to do
for one of those quarterbacks. Switching Tua for one of those quarterbacks makes a lot of sense as a counter, I think.
Yeah. I mean, if he wants to only acquire with draft capital, then, ask for 3 firsts. And then you can send back something small along with Mahomes. So, for example, we get 3 firsts back, and we're going to send you Mahomes and Coleman, maybe. Mahomes and not Terry.
What do we have at quarterback?
But Lawrence, Simpson, Allard, Geno.
We don't even have a QB2.
Yeah, this team isn't competing. I don't imagine. Maybe they are. If you are competing, then you need to get a quarterback back. But do we send Coleman in this? Coleman and Mahomes for 3 firsts. But, if you're doing this, then you are definitely probably not trying to compete this year. If you're trying to compete this year, you need Dak or Goff in one of those trades. They think you're stupid. Okay.
We're not going to take that.
Big Mike, Superflex start 9. He would send away Dak, Love, Pollard for Dart and Neighbors. Wow. I don't even know what to think about this.
Essentially, I mean, look, Love and Neighbors are valued very similarly, right?
Yeah.
I'd say probably same tier. So Dak and Pollard for Dart, I'm probably making that upgrade. It's a 12-team start 9. It's a small starting lineup. How much does Pollard really matter here?
Teams aren't linked, but
how much does Pollard matter in this trade? Like in this league where you're starting, you can it's 2 wide receiver, 2 flex.
I probably do lean Dart Neighbors here. I am someone who thinks Neighbors is a good buy. I just hate that we're losing Jeremiah Love. There are fewer assets who are safer in Dynasty than Jeremiah Love. Do you know what I mean? It's Love, Genty, Gibbs, Bijan. These guys are, I would argue, harder to trade for than an elite wide receiver.
Here's what I would say. Yeah, I might agree with you. I think Neighbors, I do agree that Neighbors is a good target right now. I'd say if you're trying to punt maybe this is a 1-year punt trying to reset this year a little bit. I like it even more because you're getting a lot younger at quarterback. You're capitalizing on Tony Pollard's value right now, I think, in this move. I mean, realistically, if we think about it from a startup perspective,
from a startup, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, because you're swapping, late first round, early second round picks, and then you're sending your 5th and your 10th for a 2nd or for a 3rd.
Yeah.
So I think that, and that's if Dak is being valued highly. I think that this makes a lot of sense. If you're trying to compete and this craters your RB room, then maybe not.
Yeah.
But I personally would definitely be leaning on the higher valued quarterback here and taking Dart in a small lineup.
Problem is, we go in 2 to 3 year windows and we say, are we sure Dart's going to be more valuable than Dak if we play in a 2 to 3 year window? That's why I'm so like held up on it. But I do think overall it is a pretty fair trade. I think it's a pretty fair trade because as much as like Love goes after Neighbors in some startups, I would argue that Love is way harder to trade for. Way harder to trade for. So I think that has to be considered.
Maybe, yeah. From a production standpoint, I agree with you on the 2 to 3 year window thing. But Dak being a 33-year-old quarterback who has had like plenty of injury history,
purely
like
from a production
he's
point of view there.
Yeah, exactly. Like if we look a year from now, I could see it very easily that like Pollard and Dak are like cratered in value.
Yeah. Petrowski here, Superflex start 9, so smaller lineup. Another trade involving Jeremiah Love, and this one
selling
I would
him
not
too.
do. I would not do this. I'm not anti Drake London at all. I like Bashul Tootin. It's a start 9, so you only have 2 flex spots you have to consider here. And overall, I'm just not willing to send a premium, safest asset possible for this package. You might be more in because I think you're more on board with Tootin being like this breakout this year, unquestioned. I'm not saying you don't have any question marks, but I more feel that there's a chance that Chris Rodriguez could have a role. And even if people keep comparing this to like Chase Brown and Zach Moss in Cincinnati, but if you remember, even in the first 4 weeks, you could have traded really cheap in that scenario for Chase Brown at that time, if you believed. So there's a possibility that Tootin ends up the guy at the end of the year, and he still is a great trade low in the first 4 weeks of the NFL season. Look,
what I will say is that this, like, it does feel like similar to that situation where it's just that with like sharper pricing, especially from a redraft perspective. Yeah. But Zach Moss was also coming off of a season where Jonathan Taylor got hurt, and he was like really good for fantasy. Yeah, like a startable running RB1 for fantasy football, and so he was given the reins of that Bengals offense before he got hurt. Crowd just isn't that. So I think that's the difference there. But with this trade specifically, I'm very kind of indifferent on this. I am trying not to get like over my skis on being worried about Love in year 1.
Yeah.
He will hold value like nobody else.
Oh, I'm worried about him in year 1, but I still think I'm taking that side of the package though.
Yeah, he's gonna hold value. We saw it with Genty, who, had a disastrous rookie season, like from a consistency standpoint, and held value very easily. The Cardinals, like if the Cardinals have a terrible season, Zach, and then they get a high pick and they end up the Arch Manning team, or they end up the Drew Mestamaker, whoever it is, whichever like quarterback goes high in the draft, and he walks into an offense with an elite running back and an elite tight end, very good wide receivers, we're going to be looking at this Cardinals offense going like, there's a ton of upside here, just like we're thinking about the Raiders right now. Yeah. So there's not a doubt in my mind that Love holds the value here. It's tough. Like maybe this is like a Josh. I'm keeping Love. It would hurt too much to I would need more. You're getting the best asset in the deal. On the other side, I mean, like you're giving it up, so I would need a little bit more here.
Yeah, I do love.
It's tough though.
Like this is one of those ones where like in a startup, technically London and Love are really close, but man, the difference in trading for these guys is just astronomical. London's gettable. Love, you have to give your left kidney for.
I agree.
Well, do you have two kidneys? Do you have a left and right kidney?
You have 2 kidneys.
Do we have a left and right kidney?
I don't know if you call them left and right, but there are 2.
Someone who's smart in the chat, let us know. But I'm probably gonna keep Love here. But it is close. It's another even trade.
And I'm gonna keep my kidneys.
I prefer to keep my kidneys. Right now, 86% of the people are saying they want Love. But Berries, Superflex start 10. Sending away the 101 and the 102 for Gibbs. So basically Love and Tate for Jahmyr Gibbs. He says, got offered this trade.
Oh, God,
Guy also likes Nico and Tet.
10-team start 10.
This is wild. This has been a lot of hard trade questions today. A lot of hard.
You know what?
trade
I'm
questions.
glad that like people are willing to pay up though for Jahmyr Gibbs though. Like
Yeah.
this is, I feel like a lot of people would be like, top two picks for Jahmyr Gibbs. That's crazy. But like, dude, I mean, 24 years old, in his prime, entrenched in this backfield.
Maybe Christian
could
McCaffrey
be
rebirthed for
literally
fantasy football.
Literally, dude. Like literally the best.
This is a tough one, honestly.
You know what? What might break the tie for me? Like if I'm like if Jahmyr Gibbs is like my only good player, then this is an easy.
If he makes this trade, then he would start. His quarterback room is terrible, but he'd start Stroud, Ward, maybe Gibbs, Bucky, McMillan, Nico. It's not like the best team I've ever seen to kind of go all in like that. This team might be
it's a 10
better
team start
suited.
10, right? I think.
Yeah. So their starting lineup
Daniel
is
in the
Stroud,
chat.
Ward, then Gibbs, Jacobs, let's say, McMillan, Nico, at tight end Kittle. That's 7. He has 3 more players to start, which we would assume would be Jacobs or Bucky, Chuba, Warren. I mean, he can put together a competitive starting lineup, but I don't know. I could easily see a couple things going wrong with this team. It's not the strongest quarterback room.
Here's the thing, though.
Some injury
that's
riddled
the
players.
quarterbacks is where I'm like, you're buying Gibbs to compete, but then you're starting. You need Stroud and Ward to both be good, and like I don't feel good about either of those bets. Like those are guys where like I don't even know if I'm comfortable as my QB2 on a contender.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's if I still have my own first, I might just want to ride into the season with Love and Tate. Like, what if we're wrong about Love's year 1?
What if he's just Zeke, really good straight away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what if he's Zeke? What if he's, like...
There's not a 0% chance that he is like a top 4 pick in startup drafts next year, right? I mean, like, that's probably a poor way to word it, but, he absolutely could
What
be.
if Carson Beck is Tyler Shuck? Like, this is the thing, right? Like, I think that there's a world in which this Cardinals team could suck and the offense could still be like top 20 in points per game, and they could be trailing a bunch because the defense sucks. And
when it comes this close, it's hard for us to take our emotions out of like it being Gibbs and Love. But think about it from a startup perspective. Would you trade, let's say, the 102 in a startup draft for the 112 and a late third round pick? I think most people in a startup would dream of doing that exact trade. I don't know if you have a different opinion there, but like...
Yeah, no, I think it's a good point. Like, I think that I have that top 8 tier, and I think I'm probably asking for a third round pick to move out of that top 8 tier down to the end of the first round. Like, that's probably what I'm asking for.
Yeah. So we're gonna keep the picks here. We're gonna keep the picks. Maybe if it was like the missing piece and you just had like an absolute Thanos squad, we would have a different opinion. But
100%.
Leo, super flex start 11, so 10 team, but a really big lineup. There is a big premium here. He says Mahomes and probably a mid 27 second for Knicks and a 27 first, Coker, and some fourths. I don't mind the Knicks Mahomes swap personally.
I like this a lot.
Yeah, I think the fourths are kind of silly. Like, I actually don't think
care about the fourths.
They have any value at all. But
I don't really care about the second or Jalen Coker. But you're getting a first to move down like what I think isn't a huge drop in dynasty value from Mahomes to Knicks.
Yeah, I wonder if you can remove both of those fourths and ask for a single third instead. Not that the third's going to have immense value, but can you remove both of those fourths and, you send a third back for a second? I'm just trying to see like how creative we can get in this deal, but transparently, I probably would accept this deal if I didn't even get the fourths. I'm just trying to think of counters for the guy. So yeah, good package for you. Nate.
Nice package you got there, brother.
Love your package, bro. I see a lot of you in me. Nate 93.
All right.
One
Okay. You know what?
quarterback start.
You know what?
9.
Real quick. I want to ask the good people of the chat. Okay. The phrase, is this a phrase that people say that is normal? Okay. When somebody says, "I see a lot of myself in you," is that, chat? Let me know. Is that normal or is that weird and it should be sexualized when somebody says it? Let me know. I'm curious. Okay.
Because Nate 93, one quarterback, 10 teams start 9, PPR no tight end premium. I'm a heavy contender. Other possibility upgrade, is that same other possibility maybe upgrade Judge plus, I don't know.
I'm heavy contender.
He would be sending away Judkins and Pitts in a second to get back Kyron likely in a first. There is a tight end premium, no tight end premium, actually. I'd find it hard not to take the first package.
Ugh, but like, yeah, it is tough. If I'm just thinking like a year from now, though.
Yeah.
I'd probably take the pick. But I do really like Pitts.
Yeah. No premium makes it hard for me to be super in. Yeah, I'll probably take the Kyron side. I'm sorry, I don't know what the second half of that meant. Like, I'm trying to like.
Okay, wait. Let me really quick. I'm a heavy contender. / maybe he's saying another possible upgrade is like Judkins plus a second. Maybe like
It's already has
removing
Judkins in a
Pitts?
second in this though.
Does he mean like removing Pitts or?
I don't know. If the question is like, do you pay Judkins in a second for Kyron? No, you don't. I don't know if that's the question, but I think that first is going to be really attractive in a year from now in a 10 team. At worst, it's a 110. I'll take Kyron in the first. T Legends here.
So really quick, Zach. In the chat, we have somebody saying it's normal around 3 a.m. at the afters. That's great. Normal phrase, but easy to make it funny. And then WG says normal. They're not trying to bang you, Sammy. I was the one who said it.
Well,
so
look, that's a niche joke only for you, Sammy. No one understands what's happening right now. They're gonna have to wait. To see the next flock.
My problem, like I get how, like Mike says, normal phrase. It's easy to make it funny. I get that part. My problem is that people hearing me say that and then not being able to admit that it's a normal thing to be said. It's fine if you want to make it sound funny, but to act like it's not a normal thing people say is just
Sammy. It was
just
rage
terrible.
bait, brother. It was rage bait, and you fell into the rage. T Legend Drum Superflex start 10 with a 0.5 premium. This is a huge trade. They would send away May, Coker, McMillan, Fannin, and a fourth to get back Dart, Tootin, Concepcion, Stowers, and a first. So this is the type of tear down. Man, but the Fannin to Stowers, it's a 0.5 premium. This is the type of tear down I think I would be into from Drake May to Dart, but man, there's just not like that solid thing I'm getting back that I'm obsessed with outside the first, but I'm also giving up on a Fannin. This is pretty even. You know, if that Tootin was, let's say hypothetically, instead of Tootin, it was like Walker, you know, and then maybe we remove Concepcion from the deal. You know, so you're actually getting Dart, Walker, a first, and Stowers. That is a lot more attractive to me. I don't know if you have a strong opinion on this either way, though.
Can you show me the base, the initial trade quick?
Yeah, so it was Tootin, Concepcion, first, Stowers.
Okay,
it's a
so
lot of
if I'm
what
just
ifs.
thinking about this, I think like Dart, Tootin, and a first is probably what I would expect for just Drake May.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Dart, Tootin, and a first.
Yeah.
So then,
but
you're
Fannin is a problem there.
Yeah. So then you're sending Fannin, Coker, McMillan, and a fourth for KC and Eli Stowers, which is like, I don't know if I love that as much. I think like Tootin, like I think a Walker instead of Tootin makes a lot of sense. That would probably put me over the edge.
Yeah, I think that's probably the counter that makes sense there. Addy, 1988, Superflex, full point premium, start 10. Sending away Herbert, Watson, and Laporta for Mendoza, Ward, and Helm. Full point premium makes Laporta an actually very valuable asset, I would say.
It makes him more valuable for sure.
Yeah, this is not really close, actually. I'm pretty easily taking the Herbert side myself.
Me too. It's too much unproven quarterback on the other side, I think.
Yeah. If you're a Mendoza guy, I get it, but you got to get more than this. Like, I don't know, man. Probably missing like a first and removing Gunnar Helm. Yeah. Maybe in this trade you're sending back a Dobbins, a second round pick, something like that. But right now, as it's currently constructed, I'm not that interested, to be honest. Okay, those are all the trades for now. I've got plenty of team reviews to pump through here tonight, but let's go ahead and do that giveaway. All you had to do to enter was like the stream and type Prometheus into the chat. Those were the 2 simple steps. And I'm now going to go ahead and raffle off a winner here. 17 eligible winners here today. So let's go ahead and see who's going to take it home. Let's see.
Pretty good odds, honestly.
Pretty good odds. Yeah, very good odds. Our winner for today is going to be, it looks like Studer Maniac. So if your name is Studer Maniac, feel free to DM me on Discord.
Studer Maniac.
I need a screenshot of your YouTube account to verify you. And I need you to tell me your Flock Fancy username. If you don't have an account yet, you can create one for free using the code LAND. That way I can find you on the back end, my dude. Thanks for showing some love. Okay, I'm going to jump into some team reviews tonight. Sammy, stay as long or as short as you want. You can actually head off now if you want. Either way, completely up to you.
I'm gonna pop out.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having me as always. Jack PLLL in the chat says, "Sup, Mr. Clean," referring to you, of course. And then he says, he actually lived in my neighborhood until he died. I did not know Mr. Clean was an actual person.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. No,
I thought
he's
Mr. Clean was a cartoon.
Person. Yeah, no. Actual person. But
he's a cartoon everywhere.
Because when he died, they had to make him a cartoon, I'm pretty sure.
Mr. Clean, real person.
I'm pretty sure it's based off of a real human being.
Okay, so when I search up Mr. Clean, real person, it's a bunch of dudes dressing like Mr. Clean.
Okay. Okay, you know what? For research, let's go to Perplexity. Was Mr. Clean a real person? Let's see. Mr. Clean himself is a fictional mascot, but he was portrayed by a real actor and was likely inspired by a real U.S. Navy sailor. I guess that's what I meant when I said he was a real person, as in like there was a real actor who was Mr. Clean.
Yeah.
What was the actor's name? Dan Bradley says they're uploading consciousness to the animated versions. Okay, his name was Robert House Peters Jr.
What the heck? Robert House Peters Jr. Yeah, let's see this.
Okay, yeah, so you can see that's when he started to lose his hair. That makes sense. I mean, that's actually pretty close.
So, when did he die? Rest in peace.
Must have been a long time ago. 2008.
But yeah. Okay, because Jack says he lived in his neighborhood until he died, so I guess that makes sense.
Well, he lived to be
in Los
92?
Two.
92.
Yeah, wow.
Which is, that's a good go. That's a good go.
All right, chat. Chat, I appreciate y'all for hanging out. Can't wait to see you guys next week, and I see myself in all of you. So just,
wow,
you know.
That's beautiful.
That's the stuff, man.
All right.
Shout out to him. Have a wonderful night, everybody.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah, good riddance to the United States of America in the World Cup. And talk to you guys later.
All right, later, brother. All right, we are going to jump into some team reviews here. Let me just quickly get that off the screen. Okay. Actually, I guess I could just do this. Okay, perfect. All right, let's jump into some team reviews. Appreciate y'all being here. I've got 2 team reviews from Wheels and Weapons to start off here. He upgraded to kind of put himself at the top of the queue. If you wanted to get your team review tonight, you're absolutely welcome to do so. Absolutely no pressure, of course. But number 1, if you become a promo code LAND annual Mother Flocker member, you by default get the live team playbook, which is tier 1. If you're going to purchase a la carte, these are the 3 options. You can upgrade if you have your membership, your first membership voucher, but the priority pass lets you jump the queue. The pro pass doubles your playbooks. You can't use the voucher that you get from a pro pass to buy another pro pass, though. Sometimes that can be confusing to people. Let's jump in. Wheels and Weapons here, and the team name is also Wheels and Weapons. So we've got the branding down pat. Team rank is currently, this was a startup that we did recently. He is currently 7th in team rank, and I imagine this is a Superflex Start 10. It is a Superflex Start 10. There's a 0.75 tight end premium. The flock side has you 9th at quarterback, 4th at running back, 5th at receiver, and 10th at tight end. He says, I have trade offers to get Freiermuth and Bryce Lance for Dulcich. I have to make 3 cuts to be able to add players to my taxi squad or do any trades for multiple players. Who you hold until it gets closer to the season, and who would I make cuts on? Let's have a look at the squad. Okay, so as far as untouchables go, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Amarian Hampton are the closest that you've got to that, which that was your 1st and 2nd round pick, I remember. Players that I want to hold on this roster, you know I love me some Jonathan Brooks. I believe I actually drafted Jonathan Brooks for you in that draft. So we're definitely going to keep him on the squad. Other players that you can hold, Rashad White right now is worth holding with the hype that he's getting. Darnell Washington is somewhat intriguing because he is starting to get more and more work on the ground. And then let's go ahead and put TJ Hawkinson as a hold for now as well with this premium. Players that you can drop if you needed to. Brennan Thompson, you can drop. I don't see him ever being a super relevant name. Najee Harris, you could drop. And give me a second, sorry. And Najee Harris, you could also, if you needed to drop another name, Cooper Kupp. I don't see him ever being like a super relevant name here on out. On the waiver wire, nobody super interesting. I mean, you can definitely monitor DJ Giddens, see if he gets some hype as the RB2 in Indianapolis there. And I would also monitor Trevor Etienne, see if he gets any love. But no one that I'm like aggressively going to pick up at this point. But yeah, with this squad, you are starting Herbert, Baker, Hampton, Brees, Amon-Ra, Rice, Andrews. In the flex spots, Waddle, Watson, Swift. It's definitely a decent team. I think coming out of a startup, you've actually done a pretty good job. It's rare to see out of a startup a team that is this ready to contend, but I think I would call you a contender. Assuming, and I'm going to assume that none of the other teams are like absolute superstar squads because that rarely happens in our startup drafts anyway. So I definitely think we're going to go into the year expecting to contend. I'm going to give you a B- overall grade, which is again a really high grade out of a startup. That's a very high grade. It's rare I give higher than a C plus, let's say, out of a startup. The trade that you asked about was you would send Greg Dulcich and you would get back Pat Freiermuth and Bryce Lance. I'm not really that interested in that offer, to be honest. Those are 2 guys that I just couldn't really care less about. So Greg Dulcich at least has some appealing, sneaky upside right now. I would ask for a future 3rd for Greg Dulcich. especially in a 0.75 tight end premium, he's probably just worth holding on to, honestly. But let's see who has Bryce Lance. Like, the guy who has Bryce Lance probably just doesn't want to drop him. I'm going to be honest with you. He probably just doesn't want to drop Bryce Lance. So he's trying to throw him in a trade package. That's not intriguing to us at all whatsoever. But I'm trying to think, could we get a Wan'Dale Robinson from this trade? Maybe at the running back spot. Can we get a Ramondre Stevenson? So, like, for example, Greg Dulcich plus a third for Ramondre Stevenson. Let's say plus a fourth. Something simple like that. You know, can you do that same trade for a Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt? Can you do that same trade, but instead of Ramondre, it's Wan'Dale Robinson? You know, I'm trying to find some way for you to actually gain meaningful value. But yeah, overall, I'm not too interested in that type of deal. But transparently, man, it's not going to be easy right now to go out there and get deals done. Because everybody's out of a startup, everybody is very clearly committing to a certain strategy. So right now, I don't think that there's a scenario where I'm like aggressively selling anybody today. I'll say in-season sells if you are out. When I say if you're out, I mean like if injuries have occurred and you're clearly not a contender, you know, these are the names that you're probably looking to sell out at that point, like a DeAndre Swift. I would say Jalen Waddle. Let's say this. Christian Watson. Anybody else on that list? Michael Pittman for sure. Like, you got some clear sells if stuff doesn't go your way. Right? So for DeAndre Swift, can you get multiple early seconds? For Jalen Waddle, we want a future first. For Christian Watson, we want probably multiple early seconds, if not a future first. And obviously, if these guys are performing, then you would ask for more. If DeAndre Swift's a top 10 running back, you want someone to give you a first round pick. If Waddle is a top 10 wide receiver, you probably want more value than just a single first. But yeah, look, right now, I don't think you should make too many moves. I think you go into the season with this roster, see where you stand by midseason. But overall, it's a good team. I mean, I'm not surprised it's a good team because you handled the first couple picks, and then me and Sammy helped you draft the rest of the squad. The squad's ready to compete. When you go to contender status, you are currently ranked 8th, but everybody, I think, is just going to be so similar across the board. All of these teams are going to have strengths and weaknesses at this point. So I don't see why you can't go into the season ready to compete with the squad that you've got there, my friend. Appreciate you big time. Thanks for letting me look at the squad. We've got another one from you here. And again, you purchased the priority pass. So we'll make sure and put you at the top of the queue here and go back to back. Sean says, is it common or uncommon for leagues to have roster spots for sleeper during the offseason? Is it common to have added roster spots? No. No, not really. I think that's just as someone who commissions a lot of leagues, I think that's just a cop-out for whoever doesn't want to drop their players. That's only going to help a few amount of rosters, and it's going to hurt a lot of other people. So I don't see that as a fair compromise. I think that's the game. You got to manage your roster, dude. Wheels and Weapons, we're here with another team review. And this is a Superflex Start 10. Only difference is it's a full point tight end premium. Okay? Full point premium in this bad boy. And you are first down is your team name. You are currently ranked 3rd, it looks like, in this league. You're on the site ranked 5th at quarterback, 6th at running back, 4th at receiver, and 6th at tight end. Excuse me, sorry. Full point premium, like we said. You are starting Purdy, Lawrence, Genty, Jacobs, JSN, Zay, Alec, Kraft. The flex is where things maybe fall apart a little bit with like Parker Washington, Ricky Pearsall. So yeah, the flex spots are where things fall off slightly, but it's a really good team, very top heavy as well. Full point premium, having Tucker Kraft is really nice. You've got some great untouchables here like Ashton Genty, JSN. Players that I would personally be wanting to hold include Terrence Ferguson on a squad like this. Let's add Ricky Pearsall to that list. I love me some Ricky Pearsall. Jalen Knoll. I want to see what he can do in year number 2. Trey Harris. Players that you could drop if you needed to clear up space. CJ Daniels, Seth McGowan. Those are names that you could drop. I'm imagining your waiver wire. Ooh. Tez Johnson, I think, deserves to be rostered over some of those names that you've got there at the end of your bench, just because we've already seen him produce in the NFL. And I do think Darnell Mooney is worth at least monitoring. I think he could have some sneaky flex appeal in New York this year. But this team, another one where I think you're a soft contend. Yeah, I would say this is a contender again. And I feel comfortable probably giving you a B grade on this one. I'd say this is a solid B flat. And another team where I don't see why you can't contend. And it looks like it might be another startup because there are no clear, teams who have made bad decisions, bad trades. Everyone's pretty close to each other. Obviously, running back 3 is a huge problem on this roster, as are your flex spots. Now, because you're just coming out of a startup, I wouldn't really like sending my first away on a team like this because there is still so much opportunity for your team to fall apart. But I would love to send a second for an RB2 if I can get my hands on one. So, for example, David Montgomery comes to mind. We've talked about, you've already got Josh Jacobs. He would have been a really good target. What does Derrick Henry cost in this league? Would you have to send your second and your third to get a Derrick Henry on a team like this? How about DeAndre Swift? Is he available at a price point like that? I don't know how I feel about the Rashad Whites of the world, but if you wanted to make that like a third plus your fourth, so sending 2 picks away for Rashad White, like these level of players, Rashad White, let's also add a name here like a Tony Pollard comes to mind. A J.K. Dobbins. Jonathan Brooks. Well, you've already got Jonathan Brooks. We drafted him, of course. Jordan Mason, maybe, as another kind of Band-Aid. It's not fixing the issue. None of these are fixing the issue. Rico Dowdle. Right? Right now, we're just trying to get a Band-Aid on that RB3 spot, because if any of Genty or Jacobs were to go down, you don't really have a emergency running back on the team right now. But outside of that, I don't really see an area that I would aggressively go out and fix. If you wanted to improve your RB room, then maybe we could look at tearing down from a Genty, but I don't really like that coming out of a startup. I want to have premium players. I don't want to bleed you dry of like top-end talent. So that's more of like a break glass scenario where if you were in season and you really felt like you could compete, but you're just missing certain roster spots, the alternative there is to, tear down from one of the JSNs or the Ash and Gentys. Of course, I'm not opposed to you hearing out offers for JSN and Genty, but it wouldn't be something that I'm aggressively going out there and trying to accomplish with this team. So appreciate that big time. What's up, Max? He says, can I upgrade my pending team review? Which team review are you, Max? And also, are you a member on the site yet, Max? Which team? I'm assuming you're Max Ben. And what did you want to upgrade it to? Let me know. Okay. Okay. Max, what are you wanting to upgrade to? Let me know. Let me know, my friend. He says the priority, my wife's here watching with me. Yeah, look, you can upgrade. All you need to do is go to the, like if you're on the website, go to the team review button, or actually where could you do this? Go to the personal advice button and just submit a super message, and just submit like $10. I'll make sure and put you at the top of the queue there. In fact, if you can tell me now that you'll do that, I'll jump straight to yours. Otherwise, I got to go in order. Let's see who's up next, though. Up next would be NS. We've got a couple from NS here. He says I'm on it. Okay, I'll jump to you now then, my friend. And we've got We Bleed Blue as well. By the way, Max, hold on. You're not actually an annual member yet. Are you a member with anyone? I just looked at your profile. If you want, I can refund this review for you. And if you just become a member, I'm no pressure to do this, but if you become an annual Mother Flocker member with code LAND, I'd be happy to give you the priority pass for free. It's 97 versus 79 what you paid, and you're about to pay 89, so it's only $10 more. The reason I'm saying that is because if you become an annual member, you're going to get the priority pass team review straight away. But what I'm also going to do at that point is give you a membership, right? So you get access to the site for the entire year. You get access to all the draft guides, everybody's draft guides, all the tools on the website. You also get access to get into the LAN League's website, landleagues.com, if you want to join the next league, the Prometheus League. So what do you prefer? Let me know. Do you want to just upgrade the playbook, or do you want to become an annual member? Let me know. Either way, completely fine. Sean says, I took over an Orphan League and Domain League. They didn't add slots. The other two are unrelated to Flock to add them. Sean says they end up having to drop players when spots are removed if they are over the in-season max roster limit. Okay. Yeah, that's not something that I am used to seeing. So, yeah. Okay, Max, do this for me, my friend. I'm going to leave this review here. All right. And I'm going to have the devs refund it for you. So all you need to do now is go to your account, hit edit plan. Okay. So make sure you got code LAND in there. I'm pretty sure you do already, but hit edit plan and choose the Mother Flocker membership. Okay. That's 97. Just hit upgrade. All right. And then pay for that. Become an annual Mother Flocker, not monthly, annual. And then you're going to get a free voucher, and then just submit that review for me. I'm going to make sure we hook you up there and make sure you get a membership. It just doesn't make sense where you could pay $10 and be a member for the entire year. And then if you ever wanted more a la carte purchases, you get a 30% discount. It just doesn't make sense for me to ask you to pay $10 to get the priority pass when in reality, $10 beyond that, you're a member anyway. So go ahead and do that for me, my friend, and we'll make sure and hook you up here. For NS, okay, these are all different teams. Because on the back end, he sent me, like, this is a 32 team league. That's crazy. And you know what? I can go ahead and start your review, Max. But what I will do is I won't officially submit this one, but make sure you become an annual Mother Flocker member, and then go ahead and while you're on stream right now, just submit your voucher. Does that make sense? Submit your voucher for me. That way you basically use that voucher for free. I'll go ahead and start reviewing your team, though. Just make sure you submit this same exact team on the stream again while I'm reviewing, okay? I saw your annual membership. That just came through. In fact, what is the word I'm looking for? Refund. Can we refund this playbook for this user? They decided to become an annual instead. Okay, Max, you've completed all steps. Appreciate you, my dude. Awesome. Okay, let's do it. Max says, hope this gets on stream. It's a birthday present from my wife. Oh my gosh. All right. Can we all just give a round of applause to the wife, though? You know what? I hear a lot of people. My wife is really good at this as well, by the way. I hear a lot of people who say, like, Zach, I love Dynasty football. I love fantasy football. But, man, my wife just hates it. She hates me watching football. She hates me having this hobby. Shout out to the supportive wives out there, all right, who can recognize your man just wants to have fun. All right, he just wants to have fun. He just wants to talk about football a little bit. So shout out to Max Ben's wife over here. I appreciate her supporting the hobby, if you will. Roe Bowers 69 is the team name, and it's a Superflex Start 10. Superflex Start 10. One other thing I want to tell you, Max, is with your membership, I just remembered you should probably know everything that comes with it. You also got 6 trade question vouchers. You can come back and use at any point, but that comes with the membership. You're going to get your playbook now. You can go to landleagues.com and enter the Prometheus League. I'll fast track you in. You've got all the Discord exclusives if you link your Discord on the Flock site as well. So just keep that in mind. Want to make sure you get the most out of your membership. Okay. It says, gave up the 104 in my startup draft for 7 total picks. My initial thoughts are to sell McBride or Kyron, but I'm not sure. No tight end premium, so guys in my league are not valuing McBride as highly as I feel he should be. I'd be super curious to see what your return was on that 104, because if you got 7 picks, I'm worried you got taken for a ride, because typically you're not getting 7 picks back in a fair trade. So I want to know what you got back in return. But your team name, Roe Bowers, you're currently ranked first. So I mean, maybe you didn't get taken on a ride, because at the moment you are ranked first when you look at my rankings on the Flock Fantasy website. The site has you 12th at quarterback, 6th at running back, 4th at receiver, and 1st at tight end. And we just got that refund for your a la carte purchase. So that $79 will come back to you, Max. Sammy said it will take 5 to 10 business days, but it'll come back to you. So that is all sorted and good to go. Just keep that in mind, my friend. Okay, and so I'll clear both of these reviews on the same stream, but you'll get that refund within the next 5 to 10 days. So a lot of the reason why you are ranked number 1 in your league is going to be having McBride, as well as having all that draft capital. That draft capital is weighing in heavily here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 first-round picks in the next 2 years. You've got 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and 27, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and 28. I'm wondering if that's where a lot of the capital came from. Because a lot of this is from the same guy. Who is this from? This is from Packaday. So Packaday, where's his team? Packaday's ranked 7th. I'm assuming he sent you all of his draft capital, but hopefully it wasn't all of his draft capital just for that pick. But look, for a guy to have no draft capital and have this week of a wide receiver room, it will certainly be interesting to see how that all plays out. Okay. Untouchables on this team, probably Trey McBride is your only true untouchable. But I'm also going to say your 27 first, because with the roster, the way that it looks right now, I'm not sure I would really go out there and be looking to aggressively contend. It was all of it. But Max, was it straight up just like, are you saying it was the 104 for just his picks, as in like the first, second, third in the next two drafts? And because if so, yeah, whoever he got there is probably worth more than two firsts. Those thirds and fourths and seconds aren't going to make a huge difference, I don't think. Hasn't like screwed over your team builder or anything. It's just that's why you've only got one untouchable in Trey McBride. Players that I like to hold: Parker Washington. I like Parker Washington as a hold on this squad. Jonathan Brooks. I know that you watch my channel because you rostered Jonathan Brooks. I can't tell you how many team reviews I do where Jonathan Brooks is rostered. Shout out to y'all. Ty Simpson's a strong hold. Clearly in a build like this as well. And then Eli Stowers, I'd like to hold. Problem is you're so heavy at tight end, but there is no premium. And it sounds like people don't value tight ends that much. If you want to clear space, you can drop some names like Dontavion Wicks. You can drop Ben Sinnott, for example. Even in a tight end premium, people have dropped Ben Sinnott at this point, right? On the waiver wire, no one too interesting. I do think Keenan Allen is worth rostering, even though you're not. It doesn't look like we're going to try and contend with this roster. But if Keenan signs with someone late into the season, he might net you back a second or a third in season. I also do like Kyle Williams. I don't know where he stands because they added Dobbs and AJ Brown, but I would drop like Ben Sinnott and Dontavion Wicks to add those two names. Okay, so this is probably pretty easily going to fall under a 1-year punt when we look at the way that your team currently is constructed, right? You can't go out there with Bryce Young and Michael Penix, Tua Tagovailoa, and try and contend in a super flex league. That's just not really going to work. You also have a ton of young talent that's unproven, like Coleman, Tate, Tyson. So I just think while it's not a bad team, there's some good foundation there. It's just too unproven at this point. Where would I rank your team? Including the draft capital into this ranking, I feel a B- is probably appropriate. I'm going to give you an A+ on draft capital, though. Okay. Oh, okay, and a 5th round pick. Good. That's a good trade. I was worried that it was only the future picks, but if it's a 5th round startup pick and all of his future capital, that makes a lot more sense. Okay. All right, so in season, we are going to sell Kyren Williams. Not right now. I'm going to give you in-season targets, and I'm going to give you off-season targets. Bucky Irving is a name that I'm open to selling if you're a rebuilder. I'm not anti-Bucky. I know some people who have Bucky Irving be like, wait, why is Zach saying to sell him? I'm not anti-Bucky Irving. It's just with this particular build, I don't know that there's much to gain from holding him if there is a trade out there where you can get like a future 27 first, right? Let's say any 27 first. Or if not, let's say a mid-future first if it's like 2028 or something. But that asset is definitely holding value, and you're in a rebuild. You want assets that will hold value and potentially increase in value. Bucky is worth a first. I don't know that there's a season that he can have where he's now worth like 3 first-round picks. If you're able to net a first from him, that's a more valuable asset in a build like this. Kyren Williams in season, we ideally want like an early, I'd say like a mid 27 first. If he's putting up his 15, 16, 17 points per game, we want a mid 27 first, or a 28 first plus second. Like if you're not going to get one in 2027, we can punt it to the next year, but make sure it's multiple picks at that point. Trey McBride is a name that I definitely think you should be looking to sell, but it's tough if you're saying that, you know, your league is not valuing McBride. I'll give you some ideas for some strong contenders in your league. For example, this guy really is only missing a Trey McBride level player. So I wonder if we could formulate a deal with him. Problem is, it's probably gonna cost him a lot. Trey McBride, if we were to do a trade like this, it would probably be, we probably want a Tyler Shuck plus his 27 first at minimum. Tyler Shuck is just not enough. Yeah, it's probably going to take his 27 and 28 first in Tyler Shuck. We can send him back, you know, let's say we send him back either Michael Penix or Tua Tagovailoa's, if that intrigues him enough to get a deal like that done. Again, I'm assuming these deals aren't possible because your league, you said, undervalues tight ends. These are just the type of returns I would need if I were in this hypothetical to actually sell the player. Let's see. Don't love tearing down to like a Gadsden, to be honest. Yeah. I just don't like that. I would love like the guy has Loveland. I was going to say Mekhi Lemon in a first, but he has Loveland already. I don't hate the idea of like going to Sam Laporta plus a 27 first plus something smaller like let's say Jaden Higgins maybe. That's maybe underselling McBride though. That's what worries me. I don't want to undersell him too much. That's probably the lowest you could consider. Right now, I lean on you probably just holding McBride at this point. Yeah, I mean, it would have to be like Chig Okonkwo plus 2 future firsts to even consider it with this team. Even then, I'm not obsessed with that idea. Tyler Warren would be great. Maybe Tyler Warren in a first. I'm not going to write that down because it's unlikely he would do it, but that would be an awesome idea for you. Yeah, Kyle Pitts would kind of be the same as like the Laporta deal. Right? So Kyle Pitts plus, let's say, a 27 first. And in that scenario, ooh, this would be really fun actually. Travis Hunter. That's actually maybe the best McBride deal that's reasonable I've put out there. You kind of get to take the fun upside shot on what could be. Tucker Kraft is a fun one. Like, I think in a non-tight end premium, I think Tucker Kraft plus a first straight up is probably enough for me in a non-tight end premium. Maybe you can have Golden thrown in there or Nicholas Singleton if you want to try that. But right now, I would be shopping McBride and Bucky given your build. Don't force trades. Remember, I mean, you only have to start accounting for points if points account to your like who gets the number 1 overall pick. You only have to start accounting for that in September, right? We're still almost, over 2 months away from that. Don't force trades. And one thing I'd love for you to keep in mind is you're going to get what we call the Dynasty Trade Dial when your playbook is done. And it's essentially research that shows you when is the best time to sell certain positions. Running back, if you want to sell these running backs, almost 9 times out of 10, the best time to sell them is in season. When people need running backs, they need points on their roster. For whatever reason, in the offseason, people really undervalue running backs. But obviously, the core that you're going to build around here, and please let me know if you have any questions, Max. Happy birthday to you. Shout out to your wife. Let me know if you have any questions before I move on here. But your core that you're definitely building around, you're not moving, is Simpson, McMillan, Tate, Tyson, Fannin. Let's say those 5. I think you could sell high on McBride. I also like holding Coleman and Brooks at this point. But those are the guys that you're really starting to kind of build around long term, I would say. What's up, Matthew and Bree? Welcome in. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully you're having a great time. And I was going to say, wasn't it one of your guys' birthdays recently? No, that was a while ago. While I wait for Max, see if he has any questions, Cade says, Zach, just started the stream a bit ago. Show me the Devi draft. Okay, I'll show you guys the Devi draft that I did not too long ago. This was for 2026. In our Devi draft, Malachi Toney was the number 1 overall pick. Then we had some 26 rookies come off the board. Names like Jared Curtis, Q and Lacey. I made the pick at the 109 to take Ahmad Hardy. Surprise, surprise. Y'all know I love me some Ahmad Hardy. So I added Ahmad Hardy to my team. Then in the second round, I took Andrew Marsh, which Andrew Marsh is a sophomore receiver out of Michigan. He was their leading receiver last year as a true freshman. He's actually the Marsh kid who went to Indiana. That's his brother. I took Hollywood Smothers in the 3rd, Jaden Maeva in the 4th, and Calvin Russell as my last pick, which that was just, he was a 4-star receiver that went to Syracuse. I don't know anything about the kid. He's literally 17 years old. But it was fun. Max says, all good, you crushed it. Hey, appreciate you big time, my friend. Thanks for hanging out on stream. Shout out to you. Happy birthday. Shout out to your wife. You'll get that refund within the next 5 to 10 business days. And you'll get your playbook within the next, let's say, 5 business days as well. So, yeah, anybody who's getting a team review tonight, expect your playbook within the next 5 business days. And you can easily grab it by going to the advice tab. Okay, so you'll get an email, and then in the advice tab, there'll be a message here with your playbook. Okay, I think those are all the pro passes, all the priority passes. Let me just double check. We're on normal playbooks now. We are. So NS1994, let me know if you're in the chat. What's up, Let Go, Let God? Welcome in, welcome in. We did just get a trade question come through, so let me pop through that one real quick. Matthew, in a Superflex Start 10 with a 0.75 tight end premium, is looking to send away Jadarian Price for Roma Dunze. I'm going to have to consult the chat on this one. I don't have a very strong opinion. You guys can see in overall rankings, I have them just 10 spots apart. But I don't have a strong opinion on this one. Price and Odunze, I think if anything, it's pretty fair. I don't think there's a clear loser here. I would say Jadarian Price probably has more runway if both of them are disappointing this year. In the sense of, if both of them score less points per game than any of us would have anticipated, then Price is probably going to hold value a little bit better. If both of them hit, then they'll both be obviously very good assets. I'm pretty indifferent on this one. But out of 7 votes, 86% of people are preferring to keep Jadarian Price. So he might be the most valuable asset there in the community's eyes. Poseidon League? Okay. Hopefully that's helpful, though. I think it's close. Like, maybe you ask for Rome in a second. Send Price in a third if you want to get that done. But I'm pretty indifferent on it. All right. NS1994. Shout out to you. Thanks for becoming a member. And let's go ahead and jump into this first one. Your team name is The Rumble. Oh, my gosh. I just realized what I'm looking at here. This is a 32-team league. Oh my God. This is crazy. A 32-team league. But it is a Superflex start 7. Wow. Which means quarterbacks are going to be so valuable in a format like this. Your rank is currently, your team name is the Rumble, and you are currently ranked 18th. The Flock site has you ranked 25th at quarterback, 7th at running back, 21st at wide receiver, and 9th at tight end. This is hilarious. Oh, my camera froze. Thanks. Thanks, gang. Y'all always looking out. Where are we at? Here we are. My camera's working overtime today. Wow. Okay, this is wild. I know NS. This is Nick, right? Nick Sinks. This is you, right? 32 man is crazy, dude. He says 32 team I joined. Should I try trading my 27 first for someone better or hold and see what happens? Love watching your vids. They have helped me win many leagues. I'll be trying to be available in the chat. Okay. So, your starting lineup right now is this is crazy, man. Your starting lineup is Daniel Jones. You don't have a quarterback too, really. Hampton, Higgins, Besh, Pitts, Corum. This is wild. And, you know, I think the reason you're ranked so low is because quarterback is just so hard to find in a format like this. Am I reading your starting lineup correctly? In the sense that it is one quarterback, one running back, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, and a super flex. Am I saying that correctly? Let's see the guy up at the top. The guy up at the top, the number one, this is crazy, 32 team league. The number one ranked team in this league has Chris Brazzell as his wide receiver 1, Oscar Delp as his tight end 1. He has 5 first round picks in 2027. But the problem is, some of these first round picks are going to be equivalent to third round values. In fact, a third of the first round picks in this league are going to be third round values. So in a way, if you can even put together a mediocre contending roster, then why would you not do it in this format? You know what I mean? Why would you not do it? This is hilarious. CC says whoever created a Superflex 32 team league should be in prison. Okay. So should you sell your first? Honestly, in this league, I'd sell everything to try and compete. You know? Because the odds of you getting the number 1 overall pick or even a first round pick are so low. Unless your entire team just completely falls apart. This is truly wild. Okay, let's look at some of these rosters. Does anybody have a quarterback they can sell to you, though? Oh my gosh, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah. Does anybody have a quarterback they could sell? I actually don't know if you're going to find a team. Oh my gosh. Guys, this is insane. Brother, I haven't found a single team with 2 quarterbacks. Holy hell. How do you trade for a quarterback in this league? Oh my gosh. This is wild. Not a single team has a sellable quarterback. Wow. I mean, yeah, I guess it is. It is basically a 1 quarterback league, if you think about it that way. But if someone were to get a second quarterback, it would be kind of a cheat code, wouldn't it? Okay, let's try it. Okay, untouchables in this league. I'm going to say Omarion Hampton. With it being a tight end premium, I'd say Kyle Pitts also is an untouchable. With it being 32 teams, having a Kyle Pitts with the tight end premium, you can't sell that guy. You can't do it. Players that we are going to hold. We're going to hold Jack Besh. We're going to hold... I guess every quarterback is worth rostering in this format, isn't it? So Garrett Nussmeier we would hold. Caleb Douglas is a strong hold. And I feel like Blake Corum you almost have to keep. You can't really afford to lose Blake Corum. Players that you could drop. Well, wait a second. Why are these guys on the waiver wire? Hold up. Nick. I need to understand, why is Jonah Coleman, Eli Stowers, Cade Klubnik, why are those guys on the waiver wire? Are they truly on the waiver wire? I doubt it, right? Is that just a glitch on the site? Look, if any of those guys are on the waiver wire, I would spend everything I have to get them. I'd spend everything I have to get all 3 of them. Stowers, Coleman, Klubnik. I mean, if you have $100 fab and even one of them are available, I'm spending $100 fab to grab them. If all of them are available, like, how can you get all of them? I don't know. Nick says, this is why I figured I'd just stay put for this year. Okay. Let's think this through. I probably would give you a sleeper tag in a league like this, right? Like, you're certainly not out of this. But almost every team is probably a sleeper because nobody's a clear favorite in a league like this. And man, how do you grade a team? Bro, I would probably give you... I feel like this isn't a bad team in a 32-team league. I would give you probably a B. You know, I'm making my best guesstimations here. Like, this is not a bad team with 32 owners in the league. Okay, so Nick, are you actually telling me that Coleman, Stowers, and Klubnik are on the waiver wire? Please clarify if they are, because if they are, please do everything you can to pick up all 3 of them. We'll prioritize Coleman, then Stowers, then Klubnik in that order. But, brother, even if you can just add those 3 names or one of those 3 names, it's going to drastically improve your team in a league like this. Okay. With that in mind, you know, one of the questions you had is like, should I try trading my 27 first? Why the hell not? Why the hell not? Let me tell you Let me tell you. Let me talk to you. So it's unreasonable to expect to send your first away in this league and get Jared Goff, for example, right? Like, unrealistic to expect to get Baker Mayfield, assuming this is truly a super flex, like it says, right? But if that's possible, that's a no-brainer. But I mean, I feel like you would even send your first for, like, surely Kyler Murray, you would do it. CJ Stroud, you would do it. Tyler Shuck, for sure, you would do it. You know, I'm probably not doing it for Geno Smith, Aaron Rodgers, Bryce Young. I mean, if it's a true super flex, I would take the shot on Cam Ward. I mean, would I really not go for Bryce? I mean, maybe I would go for Bryce Young in this format. I probably would, actually. Thinking this through. I mean, can you send your 27 second for any of these dog shit names? Excuse me, family friendly stream, but like Shador Sanders. I mean, I can't believe I'm writing some of these out. Me writing some of these names out feels so foreign to me. I feel like I'm in a different universe of Star Wars or something. Can you get Shador Sanders? Can you get a... What are we doing here? Can you get a Tua? What in the world is happening? Okay, let's keep looking. At running back, if you send your first away, I mean, clearly like a DeAndre Swift would be worth a first in this format. Like in this, like for sure you would send like for a Bashul Tootin. Honestly, for like that level of player, you're probably willing to send your first and your second. Shoot, David Montgomery is probably worth a first in this format, right? Josh Jacobs. Can you do like a second plus a third for this is wild. Yeah, I kind of agree with Vikings. I just am trying to brainstorm ideas. But I agree with you. It's probably impossible to acquire a quarterback. Wide receiver, running back is probably way more doable. But still, if you could get any of those done, I would do them. At receiver, you can probably throw away the idea of getting like a Zay Flowers for a first. Like, we have to really devalue these first in this trade or in this league. So, you know, like, is Jordan Addison acquirable for a first? Is Christian Watson acquirable for the first? DJ Moore might be shooting too high there. You know, even some of the rookies like Casey Concepcion. What is that guy who's like loaded on first have? Does he have anybody? Oh, you guys remember that team that was just like loaded on firsts? No, remember, he had Chris Brazzell. But hey, can you get Travion Henderson from that guy? I mean, can you send a first and a second for Travion Henderson? I mean, can you send your... Going back to running backs here. Can you send first, second, third for a Travion. I don't know. I mean, that guy's clearly thinking he just wants to build his entire team around rookies. He's got Ramondre. Could you send him a second and third for Ramondre Stevenson? Clearly, he's trying to get more draft capital. Ricky Pearsall. Could you grab Ricky Pearsall in this league for like a second and a third as well? You know, does that net you Ricky Pearsall level players? I don't know, but I want to find out. Right? Yeah, we really need to look towards the guys who are selling. I couldn't imagine what Ashton Ginty would cost. I mean, just to be clear, I'm not going to write this down, but if you could get Ashton Ginty for like all of your future draft capital, you know, deals like that, you should do. Cam Scattaboo. Can you send a first and a second for Cam Scattaboo? Looks like those are the main guys who are like hoarding draft capital. So those are your main players to target, or teams to target, probably. But I'm not going to write all this down. I'm just going to say one last thing before I open the floor to questions, Nick, and let me know if I haven't answered anything well enough. But one last thing I would say is all of the guys who are risky, who are on the edge, that people aren't sure about in Dynasty, you're acquiring them for like first and second round picks. So like Bucky Irving comes to mind, Marvin Harrison comes to mind, Roma Dunze, Brian Thomas, Cam Scattaboo. Did I say Bucky Irving already? If I haven't, Bucky Irving, Bashul Tootin, right? Javonte Williams. Like, you're paying way more than you would in this league compared to a normal league for startable assets. That's the line. It's not superstars. It's just like, is this guy startable? Is he usable in my lineup? That's the question that you're actually asking when you're making, you know, these type of trades. So let me know if that's helpful. I hope it's helpful. Transparently, I don't do many teams like this. That's probably why it took way longer than normal, but I overall in a vacuum think the fact that you've got a tight end, a starting running back, and a starting quarterback, and a starting wide receiver, the fact that you have those four means you're probably contending in a league like this. All right. That's my overall thoughts. You know, it's quite rare that I go on a stream and a team breaks my brain. That's pretty close. I was pretty close to breaking my brain. All right. I almost malfunctioned. My operating system almost melted down. You guys almost saw that I am actually not a human. I am AI. Okay. And some people almost saw that firsthand. All right. We got another team review, though, from Nick. We've got 3 in a row. And this one is a 14-teamer, which we are much more accustomed to seeing. It's a Superflex Start 10. Your team name is the BKD Battle Bots, and you are ranked 7th in this league. The site has you ranked 4th at quarterback, 10th at running back, 4th at receiver, and 13th at tight end. It says 14-team Superflex. Have a trade going of my 26 first and third for the 101. What do you mean? That's what the guy wanted for it. What do you mean? Software needs updating. What do you mean? What do you mean you sent the 26 first and a third for the 101? Otherwise, I will go for Price and Sadiq. I will try to be in the chat. Okay. What do you mean, man? Are you saying that you can send the 105 and your third for the 101? What in the world? Okay. Jaden Daniels. Love it. Untouchable. Okay. If you end up getting the 101, That would also be an untouchable. Players that you can hold on this team, Jalen Coker. Let's see what his role looks like after he got a big old extension. This is super flex, right? It is super flex. So in this format, a Bryce Young becomes more valuable. I'd like to hold names like Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, see what he can turn into. Or Bill. We can't call him Bill until he shows us something again, you know. Elijah Arroyo, also more valuable in this format than a typical one. Players that you can drop, Audric Estime, you can let go of at this point. Everybody else, I think, is worth rostering, sorry. In a 14-team league, like maybe Darren Waller, if we get to the season and he's not rostered on the team, which is likely. I gotta be honest though, dude. Why is Daniel Jones on the waiver wire? I mean, are your waiver wires really stacked like this, dude? Because now my entire approach to roster management would change. I'm wondering is this like an entire orphan team that's on the waiver wire, or are all of these players truly available? Because if Daniel Jones, Malik Willis, Jonathan Brooks, J.K. Dobbins are all available on the waiver wire, like they are all being added to my roster. Let's be clear. If you can add Jones, Willis, Brooks, Dobbins, I will be happy to drop Estime, Giddens, Waller, and shoot. I mean, I would drop Kamani Vidal as well to make this happen. If those guys are really out there, that's huge value. I would even say Caleb Johnson's worth adding. Trey Harris is worth adding. Terrence Ferguson, Dulcich worth adding. You've got a lot of value on that waiver wire if that's correct. Nick says, I asked the guy what he wants for the 101, and that's what he wanted. The guy doesn't play Dynasty very much. Well, that's a huge deal, man. Well done. That's awesome. But looking at the starting lineup, again, conceptualizing that it's a 14-team league, okay, you have a lineup right now where you are starting Daniels, Young, Henderson, Warren, Rice, Egbuka, McConkey, Njoku, Krosky, Coker, which doesn't look like a good starting lineup, but in a 14-team league, it's not bad. I wouldn't say that you're like a favorite in this league by any means, but I would probably put you at like sleeper status, and I'd say like C+, B-. I'm like somewhere along that mindset. As far as draft capital goes, yeah, you've got all your draft capital, so not too bad there, pretty decent. That's weird. I just got a call from a Gmail. How does that even work? Somebody's gonna scam me one day, man. And you know what? We can probably go to the war room for this one too. Not doing as many of these war rooms nowadays, but Nick says, yeah, they dropped a lot of players right after the waivers locked. I'll grab them once our rookie draft is over. Yeah, dude. I mean, transparently, you don't even need to make any trades. If you just added those 4 names, and even if all those names aren't available, you know, like I said, Caleb Johnson, Trey Harris, Horton, Ferguson, Myers, then you're going to already improve your team drastically. If you get Daniel Jones, your quarterback 2 spot's going to feel a little bit better. If you get Jonathan Brooks, your RB spot's going to feel a little bit better. Same with Malik Willis. Those become tradable names as well. Yeah, in the 14-team league, it's unheard of to have those type of names. But in order of my preference of picking up, Jones, Willis, Brooks, Dobbins. In that order. That's huge. Okay, so you have this idea where you can send the 105 plus your third for the 101. That's a no-brainer. Please do that if it ends up being actually possible when all is said and done. Let's go to the war room. And I guess we assume... I don't know why Twitter's popping up there. Sorry. Okay, I guess we assume that you have the 101. So, if you do have the 101, we're just going to say you take Jeremiah Love, obviously. If you don't have the 101, then, yeah, Jadarian Price is fine. Mekhi Lemon is fine. You know, I'm just putting that with the understanding that you're going to draft Jeremiah Love. At the 210, you're going to go best player available. Some players that I like there, you know, if Antonio Williams were to fall for some reason, man, it's been a while since it's been a rookie draft, but the 210, I think of like a DeZon Stribling. Yeah, there's a lot of names. It's kind of pointless to like go through them all. If you were to sell the 105, well, you're selling it for the 101. But if you were to sell the 210, could you get like a J.K. Dobbins on this team, you know, to sell that pick? Could you get David Montgomery if you added more to the trade? You know, trying to think of ways to extend your depth. You could definitely use a tight end. Could you buy a Mark Andrews on the cheap? If not Mark Andrews, what about like a Chig Okonkwo or a Isaiah Likely? Like these could be some targets that you could add to your squad. All right. Sorry, J.K. Dobbins on the waiver wire. Sorry. That just shows you how valuable he is. But that would be my game plan for your rookie draft. I'm going to put this in the Discord. If you don't know where to access it in the Discord, please let me know. I'd be happy to help you direct you there. But under Discord, under the LAN Discord, you'll see a War Room tab where you can access the War Room. Okay. So, I really prefer not to make any wild trades outside of the ones that I've already shown you. Because if you're able to draft Jeremiah Love, that helps your running back room immensely. If you're able to pick up all those players off the waiver wire, I really don't think you desperately need to make any trade. There is a tight end premium here that's really nice. So if you were to kind of go all in necessarily, and you know, use your 27 first, let's say, and your second, you know, names that you'd be looking to get like Holston Loveland. For that same package, we'd be looking for maybe Tyler Warren. If you can't net those names, can you send your first for Tucker Kraft? Can you send your first for, if not Tucker Kraft, even like a Harold Fannin? In this format, with such a premium on tight ends and such a big league, any good tight end already has an advantage for your roster. Add on the premium, add on the fact that it's a 14-team league. You know, getting one of those guys would be a huge game changer for you. But, like, imagine this lineup with Jaden Daniels, and Malik Willis. Then Henderson Love, Rice Egbuka. Let's say you got Tyler Warren, right? And it's a super flex start 10. And then you're filling your flex spots with, you know, McConkey, Warren, Coker. You absolutely have a shot there to win it all. You know, add Dobbins to that flex spot. Add Jonathan Brooks to your bench. Yeah, there's an easy path here. Now, if you want to go more dumpster diving at the tight end spot, you know, thinking about names now off the top of my head. You know, George Kittle comes to mind, coming off his injury. Yeah, I don't think I would send a second for Andrews straight up. I probably would want Mark Andrews plus a third, maybe. But those would be the main ideas I would have for this team. I think most of the improvements are probably not actually coming through the trade market. Most of them are probably coming through the waiver wire and maybe like one trade for a tight end. But let me know if you have any questions on that one. I'm going to move to your next team here, but I'm happy to answer any questions if I didn't answer anything well enough there. I want to make sure you feel good about it. And all your playbooks will be available in the next 5 business days as well. So same kind of timeline for you. Pitts is like on the edge. I probably wouldn't send a first for Pitts in this format, but I would send like 2 seconds. Let's say 2 seconds. Yeah. I appreciate that, my friend. Yeah, it's funny because last year, if you guys watched the Flock League, I really kind of played on like the hat idea. Meanwhile, in my everyday life, I'm walking around with Mr. Clean Look anyway. But I just thought it was too funny to kind of pass up a year of like doubling up on the hats and making it a narrative. I'm an entertainer at my best. All right, I'm an entertainer. Appreciate you, Josh. Let me know if you're still in the chat. It was fun to do. And do I edit all my videos? No, because of your guys' support. Through the Flock Fantasy website, watching the content, you know, I'm able to hire some awesome people to help us create awesome stuff. You know, not just videos. Well, we have great videos, short form content, graphics, also our draft guides. You know, all this is not possible without the support from you guys. I mean, this draft guide, I truly think is like the coolest thing I've ever made. Obviously, it's for redraft season. When I say I was collaborative in creating a lot of the tools. I created most of the tools, but shout out to Kate, my designer, who's helping put all this together. I mean, truly, I think this is the best draft guide the world's ever seen. You can put it up against any draft guide. I'd be happy to see it hold its own weight. Okay. Let's go. You know, talking fantasy football, we have had a lot of real drafts that were full point tight end premium. You can go look at all of our real drafts on the channel. We've had a lot of real leagues that were actually tight end premiums, full points on the channel. You can go back and find those. But probably won't do a mock where it's full point premium. Probably do a half. We always do like the half point is where we kind of stand there. Leo and the Fongs here. We've got now this is a 12 team. Wow. Nick, I'm surprised, man. Only a 12 team league? I thought this might be another 32 league, 32 team league. But we've got a 12 teamer. Nothing wrong with that. And we are ranked first in this league, which is good to see. Okay, he says 12 team Superflex with IDPs. Halfway through last season, I traded my 26 first straight up for Gibbs. Oh my gosh, wow. Very happy with this team. Are there any moves I should make? I don't plan to tank, but plan to trade my picks in 27 to have a chance to draft Smith. Yeah, I'd be shocked if you could draft Jeremiah Smith, but you've got a lot of crazy trades you've done in the past. This is a fantastic team. There's not a single chance I'm not competing with the roster like this, but you know, having Ashton Genty, having Jahmyr Gibbs, that's just an absolute cheat code. Your starting lineup of Herbert, Lawrence, Gibbs, Genty, Pickens, Thomas, McBride, Judkins, Higgins, Watson. Fantastic starting lineup. Really, really well done. No quarterback 3, but you can address that in season if an injury occurs. You're deep at running back and wide receiver. You've got really top end talent at quarterback, tight end. This is definitely the best roster we've seen today. Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling to think of a reason why I wouldn't put this in like the A- territory. It's a good team. It really is. You're not a Thanos for sure, but strong contender to go out there and win it all this year. It's a very, very good team. Players that I'd like to hold on this team, Christian Watson, you might as well. You don't really have many holds. They're all kind of like very important to the team. I'm going to assume that these guys aren't all on the waiver wire. What is going on with your waiver wires, dude? Hold on. NS. Are you sure? The site's glitching, right? There's just no way Luther Burden's on the waiver wire. Colson Loveland. Scadaboo, Kyler, Parker. We're joking, right? These guys aren't on the waiver wire. There's some glitch. Correct? Just let me know before I continue. Because if they're actually on the waiver wire, how much fab can you buy? Can you go buy everyone's fab for a second, third, fourth round pick? Can you go get $1,000 in fab? He says, yeah, people get dropped when there are injuries in this league. Are you kidding me? Brother, you're going to win all these leagues, not because of trades that you're making, but because you're simply picking people up off the waiver wire. Okay, Colson Loveland is an absolute must grab. Same with Luther Burden. Same with Cam Scattaboo. Same with Kyler Murray. He said, like I said, these people don't do Dynasty much. Brother, how much fab can you buy? I'm telling you. How much fab can your second and third and fourth round picks get you? Because please have as much fab as you possibly can if it's a fab league. And go hard after, in this order, Loveland, Burden, Scattaboo, Murray. Also, Parker Washington, a must pick up. Malik Willis, a must pick up. Jonathan Brooks, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Coker, Chigakonkwo. All these players should be rostered, okay? And if you need to drop names, you can drop Trey Benson, you can drop Alvin Kamara. I know that sounds crazy, but with these guys on the waiver wire, absolutely you can drop them. You can drop Keenan Allen, you can drop Evan Ingram. I mean, you could drop Tajay Spears to pick up some of those names. I really don't mind clearing a lot of that bench to get some of those guys on the team. So again, another team where transparently, I don't think trades is where you're going to drastically improve. I think the waiver wire is where you're going to drastically improve. So again, like thinking this through logistically, is it a fab league before I even say this? Is this a fab league? Just let me know that answer. And if it is, like, do you have $100? What's the market look like? Right? If it is a fab league, then, does a 205 get you $50 in fab? Does it get you $100 in fab? If it's 1,000, then convert that, like $500 fab, $1,000 fab, right? Does a 308 get you, $30 a fab, $20 a fab? Does a 405 get you $20 a fab? I don't know, but I'd be willing to pretty much send all my picks away if I knew it was going to get me enough fab to pick up these guys off the waiver wires. I think that's the only trades I would consider. Because you have a great lineup, right? Again, we said Herbert, Lawrence, start 10. So Herbert, Lawrence, Gibbs, Genty, Pickens, Thomas, McBride, Higgins, Watson, Judkins. I think if you're not able to get fab, David Montgomery makes sense to add in one of these trades. Sending your future second, like in 27 away for a Derrick Henry, a DeAndre Swift, right? Those type of moves could make sense if your waiver wire is just really aggressive and you're only able to get a couple guys here. Anything that you can get is just huge. And then transparently, once, like if you were able to net like a Loveland, a Burden, a Scattaboo, a Kyler, that makes some of the other guys on your roster also like movable. If you got Loveland, could you turn Trey McBride into Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, right? The more you pick up off the waiver wire of these hot big names, the more flexibility you would have to just, stack that wide receiver room. That's really the main issue of this team is you've got great receivers. It's just you would want maybe a couple superstars in that lineup, but it's a great team, man. I don't have any qualms with it. Even as it's currently constructed, it's a great team. But let me know if you got any questions, Nick. If there's anything that I didn't answer there in depth enough, I want to make sure you feel good about these reviews. And hey, thanks for letting me have a look at so much of your portfolio, man. I appreciate that. It's fun to see all the teams that you're able to put together there. And look, most people aren't going to be able to have these type of players on the waiver wire, but that doesn't make his league any, less real than anybody else's, to be fair. Mike says, why aren't any of my leagues like this? I agree. Look, I agree. I'm not going to say it's a fake league, because there are a lot of leagues out there where it's just like with your buddies who actually don't care about Dynasty, but they're willing to do a pay-in just for the vibes. That's what this looks like to me, right? Like a league where they're not really tuned in, but everybody has a buy-in, and then, let's just, hey, you're the guy who cares. Just keep winning their money. That's what matters to me. That's what matters to me. But I appreciate you, man. Thanks for letting me look at the squad. I've got one more review here to do today. So let's go ahead and knock that bad boy out. This is from We Bleed Blue. What's up, We Bleed Blue? Welcome into the stream. If you're here, let me know. Be happy to have a look at the squad. This is a super flex, but it's a start 12. Super flex start 12. That's a huge lineup. Oh my gosh. That's a massive lineup. You are ranked 8th in the league, though. Of course, Nick, thanks. He says most of the people are used to redraft still. So you can really take advantage of that and build out some monster teams. And you're doing well. You really are. Okay. He says, who should I be looking to trade other than the obvious older running backs? / what value should I be looking for, especially if I attempt to trade May or Lawrence? Okay, full point premium in this league, by the way. So let's have a look here. Untouchables on this team. Oof. Drake May is your only untouchable. But honestly, oh no. Oh, dude. I don't know how to say this other than you. Whoever has your first, you basically gave them Jeremiah Smith here, dude. I know you got 4 first-round picks, but man, son, this is a toughie to look at. Damn. Who are these first from? Boss Man? Okay, Boss Man's team is bad, but he's going to be a better team than yours. Brees Mode. Brees Mode's team is pretty good. Lost Nasty and Tua. Where are those guys at? Okay, Los Nasty. Look, his team is ranked below you, but this team can make the playoffs. And Tua, again, this team can make the playoffs. Yeah, your team is, without being disrespectful, clearly the worst contending team. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know why the site didn't have you last when I sorted by contenders, but it does have you last. It just needed a second to update. Brother, this is tough. I'm not going to lie to you. I just want to be honest. And I think the reason you guys come here to get reviews from me, to hear my opinion, is because I'm always honest no matter how hard it is. You cannot be putting yourself in a position where you're giving away your own first with a team that looks like this. This team is terrible. When I look at your starting lineup, we are starting May, Lawrence. That's awesome, but that's the only thing that's awesome. You have to start Bigsby, Claiborne, Lemon, Parker, Higgins, Gunnar Helm, Jack Besh, Chris Bell, Stribling, Caleb Douglas. It's a start 12 league. And you've got 2 starters we like. We don't even know what Mekhi Lemon can give us as a rookie. So this is kind of what I preach not to do, to be honest. Like, I preach, do not be putting yourself in a position where you're sending away your own first, but your team is terrible. It's just rough. So, the only reason I'm not going to put you as an F is because you have so much draft capital. I got to be honest, though. I think this is a D+ team. This is tough. Okay? I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm trying to be realistic. I'm trying to be honest with you. What you need is honesty right now. This team is not good, and it's not in a good spot, considering the fact that, yes, you have 4 firsts in 2027. That's awesome. But that is the only good thing about this team outside of Drake May and Trevor Lawrence. Is a D+ too harsh? Maybe I should say a C-. I don't know, but it's just really bad to be in this spot. I don't even know if I can call you a 1-year punt. I'm trying to think about what the best path forward is, because you don't benefit at all from not contending this year. But there's so much work to be done that I don't see how you contend. Yeah, I mean, I gotta just say this is a full rebuild. And in a best case scenario, we're able to get our first round pick back. Right? Okay. Players that I would hold. Damon Claiborne, we can hold. Your RB2, unfortunately. Chris Bell. There's plenty of good holds here. Chris Bell, Jack Besh, Caleb Douglas, Dazon Stribling. Like, there's plenty of good holds here. The problem is none of them we expect to contribute right now. If you need to drop players to clear space, John Mechie you can drop. Jahan Dotson you can drop if you need to clear space. On the waiver wire, yeah, it's naked. It's naked, my friend. Okay. Drake May. We need to get our first round pick back. Who has our first round pick? Who has done a number on us here? What's our team name again? Our team name is We Bleed Blue, right? We Bleed Blue. Who's got We Bleed Blue's first round pick? Who's done this? Okay. Spankalots has your first round pick. Now, here's the unfortunate part, dude. Spankalots has your pick. He does not have a good team. I would be shocked if he's trying to add points to his roster, which is going to make selling Drake May infinitely harder. Like, what are we supposed to offer this guy where it's attractive to him? I don't know. Like, for it to make sense for you to sell Drake May, what, Tyler Shuck plus your 27 first plus another 27 first? You know what I mean? Like, so what? This guy's going to lose both of his firsts and swap Tyler Shuck for Drake May and a start 12 and still have a terrible team? It's probably not going to happen, man. So that's unfortunate because I don't really see a scenario here where it makes sense for him to give you your pick back. What you could offer instead is Brees Mode's 27 first. Plus a 27 first from the guy whose name is Tua. For your 27 first. that might make more sense. I don't know that it's going to make sense because he's rebuilding. You're telling him, hey, here's 2 future firsts instead. And I don't know in that deal if you can get a 27-second back. You know. But that might seem painful for you to do right now. But I promise you, if it's for the 101, you're not going to regret doing that in 365 days from now. Now, if we were to sell Drake May, are there any teams that could actually pay for Drake May? So, Drake May to Caleb Williams plus what? Caleb Williams plus, let's say, a Emeka Egbuka. I would do that pretty easily. What about a Carnell Tate? I'm fine to do that. He's got Colson Loveland. Don't know if he'd be willing to part with him. But those 2 deals make a lot of sense. And I would do Dart probably, like Dart and Igbuka I'd probably do as well. But okay. Could you get something simple like Jaden Daniels plus Roma Dunze? You know, how much is your league overvaluing May versus like the rest of these top tier quarterbacks that are young still? If not, Justin Herbert plus Roma Dunze, I'm not opposed to. Why does it always spell it that way? If you can get Ladd, great. A Travion, great with Justin. I don't hate a Bo Nix plus Addison Pitts in a first. You'd have to ask for a lot there. Purdy would be great. Let's say Brock Purdy, Harold Fannin in a first. Also makes sense. Brock Purdy plus Harold Fannin plus a 27 first. I think makes a ton of sense. Not a lot of good fits for you to trade May, though. There's a lot of teams that are kind of falling apart. And you got to find a team that's really ready to kind of take that next step. Look. Okay, so what is the worst case scenario as I finish out this review? The worst case scenario is not earth-shattering. The worst case scenario is nobody's willing to pay up for Drake May. You have to hold him and Trevor Lawrence. You go throughout the season, you probably give up Jeremiah Smith. That's going to hurt so bad. But at least you have 4 first-round picks next year to start building out the rest of this roster. Then maybe next offseason you can look at tearing down from some of these names, adding picks in 2028. That is the worst-case scenario. It's not ideal, but it's not something that you can't recover from entirely. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's not going to be one of those teams where you completely recover from these mistakes within a year. It's going to take a little bit for the team to really fully recover, but that's okay. Guys, appreciate you hanging out. Like I said, in 6 days, we'll be drafting in the Prometheus startup draft. I'd love for you to go join that. Go to landleagues.com. Have to be a land member. But I think that's it for today. Really appreciate y'all hanging out. Shout out to everybody who's been in the chat, showing some love, hanging out with me. Shout out to everybody who's gotten a review or jumped into the mock draft with us. Make sure if you're not following me already on Fantasy Land Football, that's where a lot of my time and attention and effort is going to start to go as we're getting closer and closer to the NFL season. So if you haven't gone and followed me over there yet, make sure you do so. But thanks for hanging out, and I'll see y'all in the next stream. I'll be streaming tomorrow night on that channel, the Fantasyland Football channel, so make sure you join me. Nothing but love. Peace. See you later.